Showtime.
Live on a Saturday night, it's Utah Grizzlies hockey, as it's the second of a two-game weekend series between the Grizzlies and the Idaho Steelheads. Hi, everybody. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza as the Grizzlies take on the Idaho Steelheads for the second of a two-game set. We're live here in Section 114 at Maverick Center as the Grizzlies are over about a 5-hour drive from here. Hopefully some Grizzlies fans made the trip over to Boise, and I think it's going to be an interesting night of hockey. Last night was a fun, entertaining game. Idaho got a 5-4 victory as Colton Keller got the game winner halfway through the third period. Idaho outshot Utah 50-22, but the Grizzlies had some good performances last night, including Johnny Walker, who scored 2 goals. He's got 7 goals in his last 11 games. Grizzlies also got a goal from Dylan Fitz, who now has 3 on the season. And Christian Simeone picked up his first goal of the year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here tonight. Watch out for the Grizzlies' power play. They only had one power play last night and were 0 for 1. Over the last 11 games, they are 16 for 54 on the man advantage. Idaho's been outstanding all season. They've got a record of 14-2, 0-1, and they're currently on a 7-game winning streak. As for the Grizzlies, they've got a record of 8-9 with a winning percentage of .471. Utah's won 2 of their last 3 games, but they've got a 5-game losing streak against the Steelheads that they're trying to snap here tonight. And when we come back in 2 minutes, I'll talk with Guy Carenza and get his thoughts on what's going to happen this evening at Maverick Center as we're in business on a Saturday night. And you're listening to the Grizzlies pregame report presented by America First Credit Union.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza as we're high atop Section 114 at Maverick Center as the Grizzlies are on the road for the second time in 2 straight days against Idaho. And Guy, last night was a very interesting back and forth 5-4 game. Idaho ended up scoring last, but the Grizzlies did a great job last night answering Idaho's goals. There were 2 separate occasions in the first period where Idaho would score, and then 17 seconds later, the Grizzlies would respond with a goal. Dylan Fitz responded 47 seconds after an Idaho goal, and then Johnny Walker with his second of the game, which tied the score at 4. Scored 2 minutes and 12 seconds after an Idaho goal. And so that resiliency, I think, is really going to bode well for the Grizzlies here tonight if they can keep that to where, Idaho's a good team offensively. They're going to make plays, but you just got to respond and not let things snowball where one goal turns into 2, and before you know it, the score gets out of hand on you.
Yeah, Tyson, I think that key word there is resiliency. We talked about that last night. If you watched our broadcast last evening, is resiliency. And the Grizzlies were the definition of resilient in last night's game. The Steelheads would score a goal, and the Grizzlies would immediately strike back. I mean, they didn't let the game get out of hand. They were in it until the end. Unfortunately, Idaho just pulled ahead 5-4 in the end. But I really did like the Grizzlies' game for the most part. I think if they can get the first goal and you get a leg up on Idaho, I think they'll have a good chance of winning this game because they can't play from behind.
It'll be interesting to see what Vladislav Mikalchuk will do here tonight in his second game. You know, think about making his Grizzlies debut last night. He took 2 shots. He was even in the plus-minus category. But I almost think that, you know, when a guy comes in, it's always that second and third game when he really starts to settle in. I almost think that first game, especially if you end up showing up a day of game or the day before the game, you don't really know your teammates all that well. You're just getting your feet wet and getting a good workout in. I think he's going to make an impact on the Grizzlies here tonight.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think you're right. It is going to take a game or two to really settle in. It's a new system, you know, new bunch of guys that you've never met before, never seen before, at least on the same team, the same side of things. So it'll take some adjusting for him to get used to it. But I really think that once he does settle in, he'll be a great addition to this team.
My pick to click tonight is Andrew Nilsson, a guy that's got a point in 4 straight games. He leads the Grizzlies with 17 assists, and he also leads them with 19 points. Who's your pick to click tonight?
I'm going to go with Keaton Jamison. I think they have him playing on the second line tonight, so it should be a good role for him, a good fit, a chance for him to step up and really prove his worth to this team.
The goaltending matchup is going to be different this evening. It's going to be the same 17 skaters on both sides, both Utah and Idaho, but the difference is going to be in goaltending. Garrett Metcalf's going to get the start in net for Utah. He's got a record of 4-1 this season with a 3.42 goals against average and even .900 save percentage. Idaho is going to go with Remy Poirier, who's got a record of 4-0-0-1 with a 2.74 goals against average and .907 save percentage. And guy, I thought Trent Miner did a good job keeping the Grizzlies in, stopping 45 of 50. And for Garrett Metcalf, you know, he's been outstanding this season. He's got a big body, and you know, I think, getting off to a fast start is certainly going to be critical for him tonight.
Yeah, Tyson, I think the key word or the key number there is 50. 50 shots on goal for the Steelheads. And hats off to Trent. I thought he played a really good game, and the score didn't necessarily reflect that. I mean, 4 goals, but I mean, stop 45 of 50 or 5 goals. I mean, you stop all those. You get a lot of shots on goal. I mean, a few of them are bound to go in. Just get a few unlucky breaks. So I think the key tonight is, can the Grizzlies give Metcalf an easy night tonight? Can they make things easy on him, limit the Steelhead shots? And I think if they can do that, it'll go a long way in going towards victory.
Garrett Metcalf is 4-1 this season. Trent Miner will be the backup. Lucas Preek's still out, but I think Lucas Preek is getting closer and closer to returning to the Grizzlies lineup. He did practice earlier this week, and he had a conversation with Jay Stevens on Jay's podcast. And it seems like Lucas is coming along pretty nicely. James Shearer also out, as well as Cam Strong. For Idaho, they're just going with 5 defensemen. They only have 5 healthy defensemen, as Patrick Cudla's out of the lineup. But you think about that top defensive pairing, Matt Register and Darren Brady. They can give the Grizzlies all sorts of fits. After all, this season, Register is a plus 20, and Darren Brady also a plus 20. Brady had the best plus minus in the league in the month of November. And so the Grizzlies are going to have to find a way to slow down that duel.
Yeah, well, Matt Register, he's going to be a Hall of Famer in this league. He's a great player. And Darren Brady is also a great player for the Steelheads. And that's a really good pairing for them, as is supported by their plus minus. So I think if the Grizzlies are going to have success tonight, they're going to have to find a way to not only beat that pairing, but take advantage of Idaho's other pairings, which are a little weaker than those two.
Grizzlies and the Steelheads face off about 10 minutes from now over at Idaho Central Arena. And when we come back to the Grizzlies pregame report, we'll give you the lineups for both teams. This is the Utah Grizzlies pregame show presented by America First Credit Union.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting. Guy Krenz is hanging out high top section 114. Guy, it looks like everybody's making their pick to click on the Grizzlies live chat. Looks like Johnny Walker is a popular pick to click tonight, as he is the pick to click of 71 Cowboys, which is kind of interesting. Is that referring to the 1971 Dallas Cowboys who won Super Bowl VI, led by Roger Staubach and Dwayne Thomas and Calvin Hill? You talk about a three-headed running back monster. They had that with, obviously, Calvin Hill and Dwayne Thomas. Both guys had a pretty good Super Bowl, but Walt Garrison. And I remember the quote that Tom Landry, the legendary Cowboys head coach, had of Walt Garrison. He used to say, well, if we need 3 yards, Walt will get us 3 yards. If we need 6 yards, Walt will get us 3 yards. That's really what I remember from the 71 Cowboys. Bob Hayes was their top receiver. Mike Ditka is one of their tight ends. We can go on and on about the 71 Cowboys, but we got face-off in about 10 minutes from now. Who's Nick Hayes got? He's got Aaron Thoe as his pick to click. I've been really impressed with Thoe over his 2 games, and I think there might be a chemistry there between Thoe and Michalchuk if they're on the ice at the same time. Both guys were teammates in Wheeling a couple of years ago. Looks like it's the teddy bear toss night as Cam McGuire, the Idaho broadcaster, is doing his stand-up, as you can see on Flow Sports. Looks like he's holding up a teddy bear. We might have a little bit of a delay after Idaho's first goal to go along with the fish that gets thrown on the ice. Nadine Hellwell, who's her pick to click? Kyle Pouncey. Becky's going to go with Andrew Nilsson. That's my pick to click, as Andrew Nilsson has a point in 4 straight games. Don't forget, Dylan Fitz also has a point in 4 straight games. And the last night he scored in the second period, and it was kind of a traditional Dylan Fitz move. He doesn't really skate east-west all that often. He just kind of takes that straight line from about center ice all the way to the right circle. He knows exactly where he wants to go and just kind of fires a quick-looking wrist shot that somehow just gets past the goaltender's right shoulder or something. It's like kind of like a tough angle, and it seems like Fitz finds the back of the net in that sort of fashion quite a bit. And I think if the Grizzlies are going to have some success offensively, I think Dylan Fitz is certainly going to be critical to the Grizzlies' attack.
Oh, of course. And I think the word I would use to describe Dylan Fitz's goals is gritty. He's just a really gritty player. He just scores goals at the right time, and they're not the most beautiful goals, but man, like they're clutch, right? And a guy like that is also a guy that also plays that way is Johnny Walker, and we saw him with 2 goals last night, 2 really big goals. And I think him starting to get more on the scoring side of things is really good for this Grizzlies team.
So Dylan Fitz has got a point in 4 straight, and so does Andrew Nilsson. Let's see if the starters are pulled up on the ECHL app yet. It doesn't look like they have. We'll get to the lineups. It's the same 17 skaters for the Grizzlies tonight as we saw in last night's game. Trent Miner will get the start, or Trent Miner got the start last night, stopping 45 of 50. Tonight, it's Garrett Metcalf who gets the start in net. He's got a record of 4-1 with a 3.42 goals against average and even 900 save percentage. 6 defensemen for the Grizzlies tonight, and it's kind of interesting to see who's a forward and who's a defenseman, as there's 3 different defensemen who are acting as forwards tonight. Bryson Martin, Joey Colatarchi, and Jordan Stone are all going to play forward for the Grizzlies, as Utah a little bit shorthanded due to call-ups. And if you missed last night's game, Cameron Wright was recalled to the AHL's Colorado Eagles. He played for Colorado last night as they were in action, and Wright made his AHL debut last night. Earlier this week, Zach Sekos also went up to the AHL. Last week, Brandon Cutler got loaned to Belleville, and Taryn Pfizer went to Colorado. And then earlier in November, Ben Tardif and Nate Klurman each went to Colorado, and Kyle Betts is still in Belleville. I think he has suffered an injury in Belleville, but he might end up returning to the Grizzlies at some point in the month of December. Time will tell. Who really knows about call-ups and those sort of things? And I've kind of learned over the years that's impossible to predict what's going to happen. But it looks like the Colorado Avalanche are just ravaged with one injury after another, and that's part of the reason why the Eagles have had to pull up from the Grizzlies quite a bit, and that's why the Grizzlies right now are a little bit short on forwards, especially forwards that have AHL contracts, and those high-skilled ECHL guys like Brandon Cutler, who was loaned to Belleville, as is Kyle Betts, and maybe part of the reason why we saw Nilsson get loaned to San Diego. They might have had a defensive issue of their own, and you don't want to make an excuse, guy, but you're thinking about 2 really strong forward lines worth of players. They're all in the AHL now, and that's where it was big for Johnny Walker to step up and a couple of those other forwards to step up big for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, and Tyson, I mean, you don't want to make excuses. You're right, but it is tough to lose players of that caliber, players that really mean a whole lot to the Grizzlies. I mean, a lot of their scoring comes from these guys, and now that they're gone, it's what do you do? You've got 3 defensemen playing in their place. I mean, you almost have more defensemen on the roster than forwards, or as many. So it's tough going for the Grizzlies, but like I said, I really liked their performance last night. I mean, I expected them to come out and be a little bit depleted just not the same as they were from before. But they didn't miss a beat, and it's that next man up mentality. Who's going to come in and step up and take that place? Who's going to earn their role on this team? Well, we saw guys do it. We saw Dylan Fitz do it. We saw Johnny Walker do it. Dakota Raby did it in the series against the Lions. So it's really interesting to watch and see if the Grizzlies can keep it up.
Looked like there was a couple of assists that were missed in last night's game. Dakota Raby should get an assist added tomorrow. Same with Neil Robinson. In fact, we got the starting lineups for both teams. Let's get to the visiting Utah Grizzlies, who've got a record of 8-9 this season. They are 5-4 away from the friendly confine Maverick Center, as they are led by second-year head coach Ryan Kanasowicz and first-year assistant Jared Pike. Garrett Metcalf, as we mentioned, gets the start in net. Trent Miner is his backup, and Lucas Preek is a scratch. Starting defensive pairing is Connor McDonald, the Grizzlies captain, who missed last Sunday's game, but he returned on Friday and was solid for the Grizzlies. He's got 1 goal and 1 assist and an even plus-minus rating in 16 games this season. He's paired up with Andrew Nilsson, who leads the league with 19 points among defensemen. He's also second in the league overall with 17 assists. And watch out for him on the power play, as he leads all skaters in power play assists with 12 and power play points with 13. So McDonald and Nilsson are the starting defensive pairing. We will also see Aaron Tho in his third game with the Grizzlies. Tho in 12 games overall. This is his third team he's played for this year. He also spent some time with the Savannah Ghost Pirates and 8 games with the Norfolk Admirals. Tho's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 12 games. We'll also see Victor Bartley, who's got 4 points in his last 3 games. He'll be wearing number 42. Kyle Pouncey, who's the pick-to-click of Nadine Hellwell. Pouncey should get an assist added on the goal that Johnny Walker scored. It was Walker's first period goal, and Pouncey should have gotten an assist, and that will probably be added tomorrow. Assuming that one gets added, he's got 3 assists in 12 games this season. And we will also see Corey Thomas, the former Idaho Steelhead, who played his college hockey at Vermont University and then was a graduate transfer and played a year at, I believe, Canisius last season, and then it ended up with the Steelheads towards the end of last year. And Thomas provides a lot of size at 6'5" and 215 pounds. We mentioned the 3 defensemen who are playing forward tonight: Bryson Martin, Joey Kulatarchi, and Jordan Stone. They are not in the starting lineup. The starting forwards looks to be the same 3 starters that we had last night. Johnny Walker had 2 goals last night. He's got 7 on the season, and he's played in all 17 games for the Grizzlies. This is game 18. That means that we're at the quarter mark of the regular season after play tonight. Watch out for Johnny Walker. He's a popular pick-to-click candidate here this evening. Tyler Penner is in the Grizzlies starting lineup. He's got 2 goals in his last 3 games. 3 goals overall in 17 games. And Neil Robinson, who was a +2, and he should be added an assist on one of the Grizzlies' goal. I think it was actually Walker's second goal that Robinson should get an assist added to, which means that he would have 1 goal and 2 assists this season in 7 games. The starting forwards are Walker, Penner, and Robinson. We mentioned the 3 defensemen who are playing forward this evening. We will also see Keaton Jamison, who's the pick-to-click of Guy Carenza. He'll be wearing number 12. Dylan Fitz has a point in 4 straight games. Dakota Raby, last night was off the score sheet, but kind of like a lot of skaters, he should be adding an assist last night, which would give him 10 points on the season, and that would also give him 7 points in his last 4 games. And that would also give him a 4-game point-scoring streak to go along with Andrew Nilsson and Dylan Fitz. So watch out for Dakota Raby, who's going to be wearing number 22. Christian Simeone scored his first goal of the season last night. He'll be in the Grizzlies lineup wearing number 24. Vladislav Mikhalchuk, the Belarus native, who played in 12 games earlier this season with Adirondack. He was released by Adirondack and signed to a contract by the Grizzlies on Thursday, and he made his Grizzlies debut last night, and he had 2 shots and was an even on the plus-minus category. He'll be wearing number 25. He's 6'3" and about 185 pounds. He's long, he's lanky. I think he's got a pretty good shot when he gets when he gets a little bit of room. So watch out for him, as last night he got his feet wet and played good minutes, and I think tonight he could settle in. And, he was a teammate of Aaron Tho's a couple years ago with Wheeling, so it's possible that Mikhalchuk could have fit in nicely and get his first point in a Grizzlies uniform. When we come back in 1 minute, we'll have face-off, and we'll also give you the Steelheads lineup when we come back. Once again, it's the Utah Grizzlies pregame show presented by America First Credit Union.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. It's a great day for hockey and a great day for two standings points are on the line tonight. Idaho's got a record of 14-2-0-1. They've won 7 in a row, and they are 8-1 at Idaho Central Arena. Starting in net is going to be Remy Poirier, and he's got a record of 4-0-0-1 with a 2.74 goals against average and .907 save percentage. He'll be backed up by Adam Scheel, who got the victory last night, stopping 18 of 22. Starting defensive pairing for the Steelheads, and it looks like the best defensive pairing in the league this season, Darren Brady and Matt Register. They're each a plus 20 this season. Brady's a plus 20 in 11 games, and Register a plus 20 in 17 contests with 1 goal and 10 assists. Starting forwards, Ryan Domowski. The Mouse is in the house at Idaho Central Arena. He's got 12 goals in 17 games. He's a plus 10. He's got 23 points, which is among league leaders, if not the leader in the clubhouse. And watch out for Domowski. He can score from just about anywhere on the ice. He'll be lined up next to Ty Pelton-Bice, who's got 8 goals and 13 assists in 17 games. He is a plus 13 on the season. And Grizzlies killer Colton Keller got the game winner halfway through the third period last night. Keller and Domowski each have 8 points in 6 games against Utah this year. Domowski 4 goals and 4 assists. Keller with 3 goals and 5 assists. Referee tonight is Sam Heidemann. The linesmen are Scott DeBaugh and Eric Landquist. Idaho outshot Utah 50-22 last night. We'll see if tonight is any different, as it's the second of a 2-game series. Grizzlies won the first meeting between these clubs this season, winning 2-1, and then Idaho's won 5 straight. As Garrett Metcalf is the starting goaltender, he's wearing number 39 for the Grizzlies. He's got an even .900 save percentage on the year. And for the Idaho Steelheads, as we mentioned before, Remy Poirier gets the start. He wears number 31. This will be Poirier's third game against the Grizzlies. He's 2-0, allowing 3 goals in 2 contests with a .949 save percentage. After tonight, the Grizzlies will head back to the Salt Lake Valley, and then next week they will take on the Jacksonville Icemen for a 3-game series next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. All 3 games will start at about 5 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone. And remember, there are 4 former Grizzlies currently on the Jacksonville roster: Parker Gahagan, Luke Martin, Hunter Skinner, and Travis Howe. Johnny Walker talking with the referee, Sam Heidemann. Walker sporting a sweet-looking beard, the first-year pro out of Arizona State, first full season as a pro. He did get his feet wet in pro hockey at the end of last season. Puck is dropped at center ice, and we're underway for a Saturday night of hockey. Idaho skating from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye see it on Mixler. They dump it in as Andrew Nilsson will get it over to Walker on the near side, and Johnny will lift it out to center ice. Puck bounces and crowd by Penner, who dumps it in. Matt Register behind his net. And as the Grizzlies battling, Robinson tries to feed it across. It goes to the far side in the corner, and now it glides back towards Register. He's on the right side as he'll start the attack as the Steelheads skate from right to left. As they get to neutralize, they'll feed a right wing pass that bounces off the boards. Nilsson will ricochet it off the wall. Idaho enters the zone as Domowski on the right side gets around Nilsson behind the goal line. Now Domowski will come back the other way towards the point. He'll feed it to the right point for Brady. Righty shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to the right side, taken by Domowski as he gets knocked down by Penner. Over in the corner, Grizzlies trying to clear it out. It glides towards Keller. Now to the right point for Brady. He'll take a righty shot. That one gets blocked by Metcalf and rolls back towards the end wall. McDonald will feed it out of the screen as it goes towards, actually the Grizzlies kept it in the zone as both teams make their first line change a minute into the contest. McDonald, the Grizzlies captain, has the puck behind Garrett Metcalf as Garrett directs traffic. McDonald will skate towards the near side. He'll feed it to Keaton Jamison. Jamison across to Nielsen. He'll throw it towards neutral ice. Puck bounced off the stick of Michalchuk and deep into the Steelhead zone as Poirier will feed it to the far side. Idaho throws a blue line to blue line pass. It doesn't connect. Is icing going to be the call? No, it's waved off as Wade Murphy skated there before Kyle Pouncey. Right side, Jordan Kawaguchi skates towards the circle. I tried to feather it across towards Bardo, and it glances off the stick. Keeping it in the left point is Owen Hedrick. He'll get it to Kawaguchi. Left circle. Shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes towards Pouncey. He'll throw it along the far wing boards for Michalchuk. He'll feed it across near the Grizzlies bench. Taken by Jamison. He'll throw it in front of the Grizzlies bench to Bartley. Back to Jamison. He'll toss it off the far wall. And Michalchuk taps it in as he chases after it. Michalchuk with a hit of Bardo. As Bardo will nudge it back towards the near side. Now to center ice for Jade Miller. He'll feed it across as Idaho skates in outside the right circle. Shot by Becker gets blocked. Becker still with the puck along the far wall, and he'll feed it to the corner as Idaho gets hit, but Jade Miller keeps his feet as Miller gets held up by Corey Thomas. Thomas, a former Steelhead who was in camp this last year with Idaho, as the Steelhead skate towards the right point, and they'll feed it back along the end wall. And now it goes towards Joey Colatarchi playing forward tonight, and Joey got it out towards the right point. It's kept in. Idaho with a shot that goes wide as it rolls along the near boards. Idaho will skate back towards the left point as Utah tries to get physical, and that's Bryson Martin. Left side shot gets blocked, and that was taken by Giannis Vandenbergs. Now the puck skates towards the corner as Martin feeds out to Dylan Fitz, and they'll throw it into the Steelhead zone where it's run down by Darren Brady. Brady being shadowed by Colatarchi as Brady will station himself and stop behind the Idaho goaltender. 3 minutes into the game, still no score. Idaho throws to the near side. Now they cross center. Willie Neerum gets back checked by Walker. Neerum dumps it in. He's over in his right corner on the Grizzlies side as Nilsson takes it away from Neerum. Now Nilsson will feed it from one corner to the other for McDonald. He'll get it out to Walker. Now to Robinson, who dumps it in. Robinson skates towards the end wall as he hits off the boards. Penner in the area, throws it out to Walker. Johnny in the slot, fakes a shot. Now he takes one, and that one gets blocked as it rolls towards the far boards. Idaho gets it. They cross center ice. Grizzlies back defensively, so the Steelhead just dump it into the left corner. Ricochets off the wall. McDonald will spin it along the near wall. Goes back to the left point for Register, and he'll get it to the left corner as the Steelheads back behind the goal line, skate around Metcalf's net, and over towards the far side. They feed it out to the right point. As the Steelhead skate towards their left, it's Owen Hedrick. Now he's in the left circle. Hedrick will skate towards the near goal line, now around the net. Hedrick's now on the right side. Toe drag shot, and it's blocked, and it rolls back towards the far wing boards. Register skates over there, and he will glide towards the corner. He gets hit by Walker. Puck rolls back towards the near side and exits the zone. Aaron Tho comes on the ice as well as Dakota Raby. Grizzlies make a full line change. And it looks like the arm is raised by the referee, and icing is called on the Grizzlies. The puck just kind of glided along the boards all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. 15:44 left in the first period. We're just underway, and it looks like the faceoff's actually going to be at center ice. So one of the officials must have said, "My bad." Michalchuk on the ice as he's staring down Ryan Domowski. Taking the faceoff is going to be Keaton Jamison. He's got Dakota Raby to his left. Been an interesting start to this game. Obviously, scoring first is important for both sides. Grizzlies win the draw. Bryson Martin will dump it in. It goes to Domowski as he'll ricochet it off the near glass. Goes out into the Grizzlies zone. Bryson Martin gets it. Almost looks like Martin's playing a defensive role. He might go back and forth here tonight. As puck ends up back to Martin. He'll throw it off the near wall, and it goes to Michalchuk. And he tried to get around a skater. He gets hit in the right circle. And Nick Canati will feed it out to the left side. Canati, number 3 for Idaho. Now to Martin, who will bounce it off the end wall. Michalchuk skates towards the right corner as action is in the Steelhead zone as Utah trying to get it back towards Tho, and it gets taken away. Idaho out at neutral ice as Canati will get it to Pelton Bice. He skates into the left circle. He gets it poked away. Good poke check by the Grizzlies and Aaron Tho. Tho will backhand it all the way into the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies will get that line change in. 5 minutes in, still no score. Steelheads will throw a right wing pass, and they'll dump it in as the puck goes towards the end wall. Grizzlies will feed it to the far corner. A turnover. Abba squirts out to center ice. Pass across to Fitz. He skates towards the right circle. It takes a shot. Saved by Poirier. Very similar to how Fitz scored in the second period last night, but this time Poirier makes the save. And after the whistle, Jordan Stone out in front of the net has a few nouns, verbs, and adjectives for Darren Brady. As those two stare each other down. Stone wearing number 19. Watch out for him being physical here this evening as the draw is going to stay in the Steelhead zone. 14:38 left in the first. We're still early on And this the 7th game of 18 between these clubs in the regular season. Faceoff's going to be in the right circle. A.J. White, the Steelheads captain, will take it. He's got 10 points in 17 games. Fitz will take it for Utah. Draw one by the Steelheads as Register will feed it from one corner to the other. Idaho gets it out to center ice. It bounces off a White stick, and now it goes into the Grizzlies zone, but Utah chasing after it in the far corner. Grizzlies skate around Metcalf's net. Utah will fire it off the near wing boards. It goes back towards Wade Murphy. They'll feed it back to Register, and we'll toss it to center ice. Over on the far side, Idaho steps in, but they are offside as an Idaho Steelhead was deep in the Grizzlies zone as we get a whistle with 14-14 left in the first. We know there's a lot of sports and entertainment options out there. We appreciate you choosing the Grizzlies here tonight. Utah's next home game will be a 2-game set against, or it's going to be a 2-game homestand as the Grizzlies will take on the Kansas City Mavericks December 17th at 7 o'clock and December 18th, which is a Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. We'll talk about the next homestand here later on in the program. As Grizzlies win the draw, they'll fire it all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. No icing as Poirier will throw it around his net as it glides along the near boards. Idaho feeds it back across towards Darren Brady, who chases after it. Brady, his pass is picked off. Grizzlies left circle, centers it to Penner. Glanced off his stick, looking for Walker, and Idaho cut in front of him as the Steelheads couldn't clear it out. Penner will dump it around the wall. Poirier cuts it off behind his net, and Register gets it. He'll skate back behind the net. Now throw it to the near side for Kawaguchi. Jordan's his first name. He'll lift it out to center ice. McCallchuck will glide it out towards the far wing boards as McCallchuck will skate out towards center ice. Andrew Nilsson at neutral ice will feed it across to McDonald. Connor will bounce it off a Steelhead, and the puck goes out of play into the Grizzlies bench. 13:25 left in the first period. Still no score. There's a timeout in the ice. We'll take one as well. No score over at Idaho Central Arena. This is Utah Grizzlies hockey presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
13:24 left in the first period. No score. Idaho has outshot Utah 4-1. Jade Miller has 2 shots. Darren Brady and Jordan Kawaguchi each have 1 shot. Dylan Fitz, who fired away from the right circle, has Utah's lone shot in this first period. Jack Becker's got 2 goals, 9 assists this season. He's got a nice-looking shiner on this right eye that they show on Flow Sports. We're back to live action. Steelhead skate towards center ice, and the Grizzlies get it. They skate in. Raby towards the left side, drops it off for Martin. He fires away, and that one goes wide. Grizzlies out to the left circle, centering pass, shot, and saved by Poirier. Now Thomas with a shot that gets blocked. As the Steelheads will bounce it off the near wall, Thomas will fire towards the net, saved by Poirier. Rebound goes out to Owen Hedrick, who skates around the net. Now Idaho crosses center ice, 2-on-3. Steelheads step over the offensive line. They try to drop it off. The only guy there was Raby. Problem, he plays for the Grizzlies. Raby skates in. He'll throw it over to the left side. Grizzlies with a lefty shot, saved by Poirier. Rebound goes out to the far side. Grizzlies kept it in. Oh, but they didn't keep it in, says the linesman Scott DeBon and Eric Landquist. Offside is looked like Victor Bartley tried to keep it in, but the Eagle Eye linesman, they usually call it a little bit tight there, the offsides in Boise, and they weren't going to let the Grizzlies get away with that one as the draw comes back to neutral ice. Kolatarchi talking things over with Victor Bartley. Bartley's got 4 points in his last 3 games. He was held off the stat sheet on Friday in terms of scoring, but he had 2 points in each of the 2 wins against Trois Rivières last weekend. Idaho wins the draw. Out to the near side. They'll bounce it in as Nearham over towards Zane Franklin. Backhand shot saved by Metcalf. Franklin around the net. Past the right side. Shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to the right corner. Kolatarchi will throw it along the near wall, and it goes out to the left point. Kanadi kept it in. He'll feed it across, right side, shot. Saved by Metcalf, and the rebound goes all the way out deep into the Steelhead zone. Grizzlies sneaking a line change. Idaho's up to 5 shots. The Grizzlies have taken 3. Kanadi crosses center ice, and he'll skate down the middle. He's got great speed. He skates towards the left circle, take a shot. Oh, that one goes wide. It goes out to the right side. Idaho feeds it across. It bounces off the near wall. Kanadi, left wing shot. It gets blocked by McDonald. He'll outlet it out to Johnny Walker. 2-on-3. Walker skates towards his right. He takes a shot, and that gets blocked. Walker got blasted. Now Walker gets down in the slot. Penner, I tried to feather it to Robinson out in front. He shoots, he scores! Tyler Penner with a great pass to Neil Robinson, who put it away. And the Grizzlies score first tonight with 11:31 left in the first. Robinson was a +2 last night, and he got a great pass from Tyler Penner as the Grizzlies drop first blood. A great pass by Penner, who somehow found Robinson cutting from the left side. And Robinson's shot was just a quick one that bounced off of Poirier and went 5-hole into the back of the net. So Neil Robinson gets his second goal of the season. I think that's Tyler Penner's first assist of the year. And Johnny Walker should also get his second assist of the season. Utah leads 1-0. Idaho wins the faceoff. They dump it in. Garrett Metcalf wants icing, and the linesmen agree. Icing on the Steelheads. Idaho scored first last night, but Utah responded 17 seconds later. 11:23 is left in the first. Now, the Grizzlies offense has really gotten going over the last 3.5 games. Think about that entire series against the Trois Rivières Lions. The Grizzlies were able to score 13 goals in that 3-game set, and they scored another 4 last night. So 18 goals in their last 4.5 games. Grizzlies win the draw. Martin, who looks like he's playing a defensive role here tonight, and he tried to get a pass from Robinson and bounced off him as the Steelheads will throw it out to center ice. And chasing after it's Colton Keller as the pass went wide of him. Tho will bounce it off of Keller. Now it goes back to Tho, and so he'll drive it back into the Grizzlies zone. Utah will throw it to center ice. It bounces off a body and goes into the Steelhead zone, but Idaho's in control of the puck. Steelheads throw it out towards Pelton Bice, and now it goes back to a defenseman. Now they get it towards Pelton Bice. He redirects it into the Grizzlies zone deep. As Metcalf throws it to the near side, Grizzlies get it to Dakota Raby. He skates towards his left as he tries to exit the Grizzlies zone. Keller gets tripped up, no call. As Pouncey will bounce it off the near wall. Goes to McCallchuck. He enters onside. McCallchuck avoids a check of Hedrick. The puck glides towards Poirier, and they throw it back towards the near corner to the Steelheads. As Idaho will cross center ice, Owen Hedrick will skate towards his right. Now redirect himself back into the Steelhead zone as he was being shadowed by Raby. Now ahead to Murphy. He crosses center ice right wing and drives it around the boards. It feeds out to the left point as White. A pass that's picked off by McCallchuck. He'll get it to the left wing. Grizzlies 1-on-4, step over the offensive line and dump it in. Matt Register behind his net being chased by Simeone as Register skates down the middle. Now veer off to the left as he crosses center ice and bounces it off of Raby, so he couldn't get it into the Grizzlies zone. And Grizzlies poke it back towards the left side as Utah enters, leading 1-0. Grizzlies overskate the puck, and it goes back towards Dakota Raby. Now the Grizz will feed it across to Aaron Tho. Though there was a blue line to blue line pass that bounced off of Simeone's stick. Register runs it down. He's on a long shift right now as Idaho dressing 5 defensemen. Steelheads get it out towards center ice. 9.5 minutes left in the first as Idaho back to the far goal line. They skate around the net. All centering pass shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to the right side. Jade Miller. Miller took that shot. Now he skates towards the left circle. Now he tried to drop it off, and Utah cut behind Miller and took the puck away as they'll ricochet it off the near glass. Play is stopped, and I wonder if Dylan Fitz is going to get a penalty. It looks like Fitz is going to get a penalty as he goes to the box. Utah leads 1-0 on Neil Robinson's second of the year, and we'll have the power play coming up in 30 seconds. 9:17 left in the first. Utah leads 1-0 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. Neil Robinson got Utah on the board as he scored 8:29 into the contest. They gave Tyler Penner an assist. I think Johnny Walker probably should get his second assist of the season as well. Dylan Fitz is in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. 2 minutes for slashing. Time of the penalty, 10:43 in. Have you or someone you know been charged with a DUI? Rogers and Russell is Utah's DUI defense firm. Consequences for driving under the influence in Utah are serious, and you need great attorneys on your first line. Look for a letter in the mail from Rogers and Russell inviting you to schedule a free consultation. Don't throw away or disregard this letter. Call and get Utah's best DUI defense team. Rogers and Russell. Off the draw, Idaho with a shot saved by Metcalf, and the Grizzlies clear it out. 10 seconds into the power play. Idaho will skate from right to left as we see it on Flow Sports. Your mind's eye see it on YouTube as Domowski skates in towards the near goal line, stops in the corner, and he'll throw it up top for Pelton Bice. Now across to Hedrick. They'll feed it to the right circle. Righty shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes to Utah. They tried to clear it out. Somehow Hedrick kept it in. As the Steelheads on the right side, 35 seconds into the power play. They get over to Hedrick. One-timer saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes to Raby, and Dakota will lift it over the head of Owen Hedrick and deep into the Steelhead zone. Good job by Garrett Metcalf. He's off to a quick start here in the first 11 minutes of hockey or so. 8:25 counting left in the first. Halfway through the Steelheads' first power play of the game as Domowski left side dumps it in. Pelton Bice chases after it. So is Corey Thomas as A.J. White will throw it over to Hedrick. Now to Domowski on the left side. He'll skate towards the left circle. Domowski stops. He'll throw it up top for Pelton Bice. Now across to Hedrick. Hedrick skates towards his left, now to his right. He'll feed a pass to the right circle, now back to Hedrick. One-timer. That gets blocked. Steelheads get it up top for Kawaguchi. Now back to Hedrick. He'll throw it to the left circle for Kawaguchi, who had 2 goals last night. He'll throw it up top for Pelton Bice. He'll feed it to the right side for Brady. Now to the slot for Hedrick. Back to Pelton Bice. Shot saved by Metcalf. Puck glows towards the end wall. It's Kawaguchi. 20 seconds left in the power play. Throws it to Hedrick. Now to the right circle. Back up top for Pelton Bice. Back to Hedrick. One-timer. That one goes wide. Puck goes to Zane Franklin, number 37. He skates towards the right point, drops it off for Bice. Bice skates towards the right circle. He tries to throw it to the far goal line. White with a shot, and it glances off a stick and goes out of play. 4 seconds left in the Steelheads power play as Idaho was able to keep the puck in the offensive zone for quite a while, but Garrett Metcalf made one big save after another. Good job by the Grizzlies penalty kill. They were 4 for 6 last night as Idaho had 2 power play goals in the final half of the contest. As the Steelheads with a shot, and it bounced off, and Metcalf went out of play as they show the replay. As Garrett skating around, he's been active and busy here in this first period. Utah leads 1-0. Draw one by Idaho. They throw it up top, register, fakes a shot. Now he takes one, saved by Metcalf. Ball got redirected, hacking away in the crease, and it looks like Garrett's covered up. Out of the penalty box is Dylan Fitz. Grizzlies are 1 for 1 on the penalty kill so far tonight. 7:11 is left in the first, and the Grizzlies will have the face-off in their own zone. Garrett's off to a quick start. He's seen quite a few shots here early on, and that was kind of a tough one. It looked like he bobbled it for a second. Idaho kept hacking away, but then Garrett was able to cover it up. Metcalf, the Salt Lake City native, a former 6th-round draft pick of the Anaheim Ducks in 2015. As Idaho wins the draw, Brady will throw it to the right side, now to the corner. Now back over to a cutting Brady. Centering pass, shot and a score. As the Steelheads have tied it up, and that's Jack Becker getting his 3rd of the year. And it looks like it is the teddy bear toss night in Idaho as fans throw teddy bears onto the ice. And it looks like we're going to have a bit of a delay as a lot of bears are now at neutral ice. Metcalf's going to skate towards the bench, and it looks like we're going to have quite a bit of a delay as many teddy bears and other stuffed animals are on the ice. Doesn't look like many of them are at center ice, as it looks like they're just barely getting over the glass. Jack Becker got a centering pass and scored his 3rd of the year. And because of this delay, we got some time to talk. And Guy Carenza, it was a good start for the Grizzlies. Neil Robinson got that goal, but then Jack Becker tied it up as we're going to have a bit of a delay as it's the teddy bear toss night with 7:01 left in the first. Jack Becker gets it for Idaho as we're tied at 1. Don't forget the Grizzlies teddy bear toss night's going to be 2 weeks from now. 14 days from now, that'll be the next Grizzlies home game as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. We see a good showing of stuffed animals. Now, can the Grizzlies fans find a way to match that 2 weeks from now here at Maverick Center?
Yeah, Tyson, it's okay. I mean, they got a good teddy bear toss going on there, but I really think that Grizzlies fans can do it much, much better. So I want to see you at the Maverick Center for Teddy Bear Toss Night, and I want the entire rink covered in teddy bears and other stuffed animals. I don't want to see a single patch of white on the arena that night.
I think it's interesting to kind of see Idaho scored that goal, not on the power play, but it seemed like the offensive zone time they got on the power play kind of contributed to them scoring that goal soon after, as Jack Becker is going to get that goal as there's 7:01 left in the first period. And there's a lot of stuffed animals on the ice of all shapes, sizes, and colors. I didn't see who ended up throwing the pass to Becker, but it was certainly a good outlet feed. And I think for the Grizzlies, you know, you're talking about the shot count last night. Idaho had 50 shots to the Grizzlies, 22 last night. You know, so far tonight, Idaho at least 10 shots to the Grizzlies, 4.
Yeah, Tyson, that's one of the keys to the game for the Grizzlies is they need to find a way to limit Idaho's shots. And right now they haven't been able to do that. 10 shots already on the board. We're a little over halfway through the first period. They got to find a way to limit those chances for Idaho. And the majority of the time has been spent in the Grizzlies zone. So they need to find a way to start generating some offensive pressure, which will take the pressure off Metcalf and the defense.
Jack Becker gets the goal. Wade Murphy and Darren Brady with the assist. And it was the 11th shot on goal for Idaho that ended up finding the back of the net. 7:01 is left in the first period. And some of the players have even come out to help along with the teddy bear toss and get them off the ice so we can get back to live action. The Steelheads mascot, which is a bear, which I always thought was kind of interesting considering that a steelhead is a fish, but a bear is their mascot. Bears eat fish, after all. It's interesting. They scored that first goal, but the tradition in Boise is they always toss a fish on the ice after the first goal. Is it possible that the fish ends up getting mixed up with the teddy bears, or did they tell whoever tossed the fish on the ice to wait until the second goal? I didn't see a fish on the ice, but did see a lot of teddy bears.
I would hope that there wouldn't be a fish hiding out there. I mean, I feel bad for whoever has to find that fish in all the stuffed animals and such. But it's an interesting tradition.
The Teddy Bear Toss is going to be December 17th at Maverick Center as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks. It's Jordan Kawaguchi and Wade Murphy doing their part to pick up the teddy bears. And it looks like there's a lot of fans and workers of the Steelheads that are picking up the teddy bears. Looks like a pretty good showing. And I know at Maverick Center, we want to have a great showing of teddy bears just as they have here tonight in Boise. That's a big-time panda bear that's coming off the ice as well. Looks like a teal teddy bear and all shapes and colors. And it looks like it's quite an effort to get all the teddy bears off the ice so we can continue with the game. And if you joined us late, the Grizzlies scored first as Neil Robinson found the back of the net about 8 minutes in. And the assist went to Tyler Penner and should go to Johnny Walker as well. And then Idaho with the equalizer. It wasn't a power play goal, but it was soon after their power play ended, with Jack Becker getting his third of the year, Wade Murphy and Darren Brady getting the assists. As they are still picking up the teddy bears. I know at Maverick Center, we kind of want to see a bit of a delay because we want to see that many stuffed animals on the ice. That's going to be 2 weeks from now, December 17th, as the Grizzlies take on the Kansas City Mavericks. That's the Grizzlies' next home game. You can get your tickets at UtahGrizzlies.com, or you can call 801-988-8000. That's 801-988-8000. Although I'm not sure if operators are standing by or not. Make sure to call them during business hours, Monday through Friday, as they are still picking up the teddy bears on the ice in Boise. As Grizzlies, I don't know if the Grizzlies went back to the dressing room or if they're just going to sit on the benches. It is quite a bit of a delay while they pick up the teddy bears. And don't forget, we mentioned the teddy bear toss 2 weeks from now at Maverick Center. It's also ugly sweater night. Guy, do you have an ugly sweater, or do we have to find a way to provide you one? As I think you and I are probably going to be wearing ugly sweaters 2 weeks from now as well at Maverick Center. I know last season I wore an ugly sweater. It was about 2 sizes too small. Tegan Zahn, the Grizzlies assistant last year, and Ryan Kanasowicz each wore their ugly sweaters. And I remember the Grizzlies defeated Wichita that evening. And Guy, we got to remember next home game to bring our ugly sweaters to wear on the to wear. And we want to see some Grizzlies workers wearing their ugly sweaters to pick up those teddy bears on Teddy Bear Toss night.
Yeah, of course. And I think last year Grisby was wearing the opposing team's jersey for ugly sweater night, which was very funny. But yeah, I'm gonna have to jump in on that. Get an ugly sweater. So on the list, 17th, bring a teddy bear, and then the next day, ugly sweater night at the Maverick Center. I want to see you there.
Looks like the teddy bears are being picked up, and now they're shoveling the ice a little bit. A.J. White talking with one of the linesmen, as well as Sam Heideman, the referee. It looks like we'll be back to live action here shortly, as we're tied at 1. Neil Robinson scored for Utah, and then a few minutes later, 12:59 in. Jack Becker found the back of the net for his third of the year. 2 of those 3 goals have come against the Grizzlies. For the 4 shots for Utah here tonight, Fitz has 1, so does Simeone, Neil Robinson, and Corey Thomas. It was the goal for Robinson as Tyler Penner threw a nice pass out in front of the net. Penner gets his first assist of the year, and I think Johnny Walker should also get his second assist of the campaign. As it looks like we're going to be set to go back to live action, and it's kind of tough sometimes in these remote feeds to just see what the background looks like, as we're kind of at the mercy of the one video feed that we get, and it's kind of the live broadcast that you see from the Idaho perspective as well. But they do a great job over in Boise, as the Grizzlies lost 5-4 last night. They have won 2 of their last 3 games, but I kind of think about the offensive production. 13 goals in 3 games against the Lions, another 4 last night. And Neil Robinson getting the Grizzlies off to a quick start this evening, as Utah scored first this evening. The Grizzlies this season, when scoring first, have a pretty good record, as they are 5-2 this season when scoring first. Actually, they're 6-2 when scoring first this year. The Grizzlies have also been pretty good in 1-goal games this season. Last night was a 1-goal contest. Idaho came out on top 5-4, but the Grizzlies this season are 5-3 in 1-goal games. If this delay extends any longer, we'll start talking about the Grizzlies' road record, which is 5-4 this season. And Guy, a big reason as to why the Grizzlies had some success on the road, why they won the division is really their 19 road wins they had, which led the division. And I think, for the Grizzlies to just win their fair share of road games. Now, remember, 22 of the first 36 games this season are on the road. So the Grizzlies will be at home a lot in the second half. So I think that, you just pick up your road wins where you can, and knowing that you're going to play at Maverick Center a lot during the second half of the season.
Yeah, Tyson, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that the Grizzlies, for them, for any team really, a road point is almost a little bit more important than a home point. It's a little bit tougher to get a road point. So if you can go out into a hostile environment like Idaho Central Arena and come out with at least a point, or best case scenario, 2 points, you're in pretty good shape. And those are really going to help the Grizzlies down the stretch.
At some point, the Teddy Bears are going to be off the ice, and we'll get back to live action as there's 7:01 left in the first period. It is the Teddy Bear Toss night over in Boise. The Grizzlies' Teddy Bear Toss night will be 2 weeks from now at Maverick Center. That's the Grizzlies' next home game as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. The Mavericks will be in town for 2 games. And then I think the Grizzlies will be back in Boise for a 2-game set, December 21st and 23rd. And then there's going to be a 4-day Christmas break. And then the last 3 games of the 2022 calendar year, the Idaho Steelheads will be at Maverick Center. So it's a lot of Idaho here in the 2022 calendar year. And considering the Steelheads are 14-2-0-1 this season, as now we're back to live action. Idaho and Utah tied at 1. Steelheads win the draw and dump it into the Grizzly zone as A.J. White throws to Kawaguchi. Centering pass. It glances off the stick of Robinson. Now Idaho feeds it back to the left circle as Wade Murphy gets knocked down left point. Register with a shot and it gets blocked out in front of Garrett Metcalf. Trent Miner got the start last night and saw 50 shots. Grizzlies at neutralize. Penner throws it ahead to Walker that glanced off his stick on a hot pass and goes back to Register. He'll feed it off the near wing boards. Idaho skates in. Franklin tried to get around McDonald but lost the puck. Nielsen back behind his net as we're tied at 1 with 6:23 left in the first period. Grizzlies skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. In your mind's eye, see it on Mixler or on YouTube. As Nielsen throws it out towards center ice, Kolatarchi gets held up by a Steelhead. Now bounces off the Misiak, who's in the slot. Puck glides towards McDonald. He'll feed it back to Nielsen. Now back to McDonald, who's out in front of Metcalf. Now throw it out to the far side for Kolatarchi, who dumps it in. Chasing after it's Idaho as they skate towards Remy Poirier, the goaltender tonight for Idaho. Now to center ice. Left wing pass to Misiak. Justin's his first name. He skates towards the left side. Fires a shot. Glove saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. Almost looked like Garrett leapt for about half a foot to make that stop from the cousin of former Grizzly, Ryan Misiak. 5:51 left in the first period. We'll take a timeout and come back in 1 minute. Neil Robinson has Utah's goal. Jack Becker has Idaho's tally on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 1, Idaho and Utah, second of a 2-game series. Draw in the Grizzlies zone. Utah wins it. They throw it out to neutral ice. Now dumped deep in the Idaho zone. Vladislav Mikalchuk over in the far corner. He gets double teamed as he gets hit. Idaho's outshot Utah 11-4. Puck along the near side. Bryson Martin over to Jamison. He'll bounce it off the end wall for Mikalchuk. He'll skate towards the right corner. Mikalchuk now just outside the circle. Backhand pass to Martin. Now to the right circle. And Utah looking for it. Jamison trying to accept the pass as Misiak nearby. Now puck squirts towards the left point. Lefty shot. Saved by Poirier. That shot was taken by the Grizzlies from up top. Poirier made the save. He is now 4 for 5 on saves here tonight. It was a lefty. I couldn't see who it was. It was Corey Thomas that took the shot. I got redirected by a stick. It was kind of a tricky save that Poirier had to make, and good job by him not allowing a rebound there. Draw's going to be in the right circle. Tyler Penner will take it. He's got Neil Robinson to his right, Walker to his left. Walker's got 7 goals in his last 11 games. He's got 7 this season, which is tied for third most on the club. Utah wins the faceoff. Thomas gets over to Pouncey. High slot. He'll bounce it off the end wall. Grizzlies race towards the right corner to get it. As Robinson nudges it across. Now it's to the left corner. Johnny Walker gets it. He gets it back towards Robinson. Walker nearby. So is Owen Hedrick as the puck squirts towards Register. He gets it as Register will feed it to the near side for Domowski. One-time tap. Now goes back to Domowski. Left circle, centering pass, shot. And it didn't get towards Metcalf as Hedrick kind of fanned on it. As Pouncey will bounce it off the near wall, looking for Walker, overskated it. Pelton Bice steps in. Domowski back to Bice, centering pass, shot. Saved by, it goes wide as they try to go glove side on Metcalf. 4.5 minutes left in the first period. Puck glided all the way down towards the Steelhead zone. As Idaho tried to skate in, they overskate it. Now Fitz crosses center ice left wing. He'll step over the line. He'll take a righty shot, saved by Poirier. Puck glides along the near wall as McDonald feeds it across. It bounces off the end boards, and Idaho gathers it. They skate from right to left. About 4 minutes left in the first period as Idaho crosses center ice. Domowski drives it in. Cut off by Metcalf behind the net. Garrett will feed it to the far side as Utah will skate down the middle as the Grizz get it out towards Simeone as the puck lifts into the air and bounces into the Steelhead zone. Idaho skates around Poirier's net as there's less than 4 minutes left in the first period. As Dawson Bardo skates in, he stops just outside the corner, feeds it up top for Becker. He takes a shot that goes wide. McDonald tried to get a piece of it as it goes to the right corner. Now puck around the boards as it goes towards the near side. Raby gets hit. They'll feed it to McDonald. Connor will go D to Nilsson. Now ahead looking for Raby. It goes between his legs, and the linesman said he didn't touch it as icing is on the Grizzlies with 3:29 left in the first. Draw comes back towards Garrett Metcalf. We were tied 2-2 after one period last night, and we were tied 4-4 after 2 periods last night as well. So you're talking about a game that seesawed back and forth. Neither team, Utah never led last night, and Idaho never had a lead of more than 1 goal. As the draw in the Grizzlies zone, won by Idaho. Righty shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out towards the right boards as Kanadi out towards the corner. Arm is raised by the referee as 2 Grizzlies were battling with a Steelhead in the corner. And it looks like Utah's going to get a penalty. And Big Andrew Nilsson looks like he's going to the box as the shot was taken by Wade Murphy and the puck glided towards the right side. Nilsson was over on the right. It was touched up by Raby, and the penalty Nilsson committed looked like it was out in front of Metcalf, and it is a slash. And so Nilsson's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Boy, from the look we had, didn't look like there was much there. It must have been off the screen that Nilsson got the slash. So he's in the penalty box. Nilsson last season wore number 40, but this year he's wearing number 44 for the Grizzlies. Draw in the left circle. Won by Idaho as it bounces off the end wall, and Utah will race to the corner and clear it all the way out. It's the second power play for Idaho tonight. It's the 8th power play for Idaho in this series. Utah just has 1 power play here in the first 4 periods of this weekend at Idaho Central Arena. As the Steelheads skate in, they are offside as they try to fire a puck from the right side into the left corner as the play is stopped with 3:02 left in the first period, 1:42 left in Idaho's second power play of the game. Grizzlies' penalty kill this season is 77.4%. Idaho's power play is 25.8%. As the Steelheads win the face-off, and Matt Register will backpedal into his own zone. Now he'll start the attack as he'll feed it to the left side for Kawaguchi. Now across towards the middle. Dawson Bardo enters the zone. He'll wrap it around for A.J. White. He's along the near wall. White gets it over to Kawaguchi. Now up top to Register. Matt will feed it across to Bardo. Now to Kawaguchi. Skates towards the left circle. Drops it back up off top for Register. He'll take a lefty shot that goes wide. Puck squirts towards the far wing boards. Penner tried to clear it out. Raby skates over there, and he sails it all the way down towards Poirier. Halfway through the power play for Idaho. 2:23 and counting left in the first. We're tied at 1. Neil Robinson is Utah's goal. Jack Becker scored for Idaho. Matt Register skates down the middle. Now feed it off the near wing boards for Domowski. He overskated it. Dylan Fitz tried to clear it out, but it just went all the way to the Idaho blue line. Steelheads, blue line to blue line pass to Domowski. Left wing shot. That one goes wide. He tried to go low on Metcalf on the stick side as Keller throws it back towards McDonald behind Utah's net. He'll bounce it off the near wall. Kept in by Bice. Now Hedrick will get it to the right side. Righty shot by Keller, saved by Metcalf. Grizzlies in the right corner. Bounce it off of Keller. It stays in. Bice in the left side skates towards the circle. He's just outside of it. Now he's towards the goal line. Now to Keller, back to Bice. He skates around the net, centering pass, looking for Miller. He couldn't handle it. Now Hedrick throws it to the right side. He gets it picked off by Jamison. Keaton will skate to neutral ice, and he'll backhand it deep into the Steelheads zone. 10 seconds left in the Steelheads power play. Good penalty kill by the Grizzlies. Hedrick skates down the middle. Less than a minute and a half left in the first. Hedrick skates in towards the left circle, makes a nice move around Martin. Now he'll get it up top for Niram. Back to Hedrick. He'll take a righty shot. That one goes over the head of Metcalf and stays in play. Right side, Raby goes down. Now a Steelhead goes down as Nilsson joined the play out of the penalty box. Willie Niram and Nilsson battle in front of the net. Niram has Nilsson by the jersey. No call. Now Walker and Niram have words. Right circle shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to Walker. He'll nudge it to center ice, looking for Raby. But it gets kicked by Hedrick into the Steelhead zone. Idaho gathers the puck. Less than a minute left in the first period. Idaho skates in 3-on-3. Idaho veers it off to the left. Now Kanadi just outside the left circle wearing number 3. He's got great speed. He skates towards his right. Now he takes a lefty shot. It's blocked by Walker. Puck towards the end wall. Thomas in the far corner will toss it ahead. It bounces off the stick and goes into the Steelhead zone. Kanadi skates out towards it. Less than half a minute left in the first is Kanadi back in his own zone being shadowed by Penner. Kanadi feeds it across towards the far wing boards. Now back to Kanadi. He's in the near side as he'll throw a right wing pass to center ice. It gets kicked off the skate of Kawaguchi. Now Utah center ice dumps it in. Puck rolls along the wall. Poirier cuts it off behind the net. He'll feed it around the wall to the near side. Now neutralized. McDonald fires a shot that goes wide. And time has run out on both teams here in the first period as we're tied at 1. Neil Robinson got Utah on the board first as he scored 8:29 in. Tyler Penner listed with an assist, and I think Johnny Walker should be added an assist, even though he doesn't have one right now. Penner got his first assist of the campaign, but then Jack Becker gets the teddy bear toss goal as he scored 12:59 in, with Darren Brady getting an assist, and I think Wade Murphy also added a helper there. And we had a bit of a delay as there was a lot of teddy bears and stuffed animals on the ice. And Idaho, I think the delay took about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, and it was a really good showing by the Idaho fans. It looks like if it's not a sellout tonight, it's pretty close to it. And, we've got ourselves a pretty good game. You think about 3 of the 4 periods in this series, that have been deadlocked. And the Grizzlies offensively continue to roll over the last 4 games and 1 period of a 5th game over the last 13 periods. Utah has scored 18 goals. When we come back, we'll recap the first period, and we'll also talk with Guy Krenz and get his thoughts on what he saw in the first 20 minutes of play. Let's face it, we're pretty much just going to repeat what we said during the delay, the teddy bear toss delay anyway. And we'll also go over some scores from around the world of sports. Through 20 minutes, we're tied at 1. Siegfried and Jensen intermission report starts in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Welcome back to Grizzlies hockey. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza. We're high atop section 114 at Maverick Center. The Grizzlies are up north at Idaho Central Arena, and we've got ourselves a pretty fun hockey game as we're tied at 1. Grizzlies got on the board first. Neil Robinson collected a great pass from Tyler Penner out in front, and Robinson put it away for his second of the season. Kind of looked like Robinson, who didn't have a whole lot of time to really do any thinking. He just kind of reacted and kind of went 5-hole on Poirier, and it just kind of squirted through. And Robinson seems like he's going to be a pretty good player all season. He played in 3 games last year before suffering a season-ending injury, and it's good to see him have some success this weekend. He was a +2 and should have 1 assist from last night's game, and he picks up a goal in the first period here tonight, 8:29 in. It's the Teddy Bear Toss game. It's Teddy Bear Toss night over at Idaho Central Arena, which is one of hockey's great traditions, where fans throw teddy bears on the ice after the home team's first goal. Jack Becker scored it this evening. He wears number 27. He now has 3 goals this season. Wade Murphy and Darren Brady got the assists, and what a great showing by the Idaho fans, as there were all sorts of teddy bears and stuffed animals that were thrown on the ice. There was a bit of a delay of about 10 to 12 minutes where they picked up the teddy bears. In fact, a bunch of Steelhead players contributed to picking up the teddy bears, and what a great showing it was. For Grizzlies fans, the challenge is out. 2 weeks from now is the Grizzlies Teddy Bear Toss night, and we'll see what kind of showing the Grizzlies fans have as they take on Kansas City. Teddy Bear Toss night, and it's also going to be Ugly Sweater night. We'll see what Grisby's got in store for Ugly Sweater night, as he texted or he actually tweeted at me and Guy, and we'll see what Grisby's got in store. I think last year he wore the jersey of the visiting team that night, which I think was the Wichita Thunder. So we'll see what he's got in store for 2 weeks from now. Teddy Bear Toss as well as Ugly Sweater night, and that's going to be a lot of fun. That's the next Grizzlies home game. Idaho ended up outshooting Utah 15-5 in the first period. There were 2 penalties. Dylan Fitz got a slashing minor, 10:43 in. Andrew Nelson got a slashing minor, 16:40 in. Good job by the Grizzlies penalty kill unit, but it's kind of, you think about that goal that Idaho scored. I mean, Fitz came out of the box 12:43 in, and 16 seconds after Fitz came out of the box when Idaho scored their goal. So even though they didn't score a goal on the power play, the offensive zone time they generated from that power play contributed to that goal that was eventually scored by Jack Becker. And you think about the momentum of a hockey game, and really you think about that shot count where Idaho outshot Utah last night 50-22. Steelheads with a 3-1 edge tonight, 15-5. And, having the power plays kind of contribute to that. And it's almost like if you're able in that 2-minute power play to at least get a bunch of offensive zone time, whether you score a goal or not, you're able to keep the puck. And when you have the puck, obviously the other team doesn't. and that's where the shot count can kind of get out of hand a little bit. From the Grizzlies' perspective, of their 5 shots, Corey Thomas had 2, Dylan Fitz, Christian Simeone, and Neil Robinson each had 1. Garrett Metcalf, the Grizzlies goaltender, was busy. He stopped 14 of 15 in the first period. For Idaho, Jack Becker led the way with 3 shots, including the goal, scored 12:59 in. Wade Murphy, Darren Brady, and Jade Miller each had 2 shots, and then a bunch of other skaters with 1 shot for Idaho. And you think about this weekend series. Idaho had 6 power plays last night and another 2 here in the first period this evening. Utah only had 1 power play last night and none so far this evening. And Guy, with the success the Grizzlies have had on the power play over the last handful of games, they're 16 for 54 over the last 11 contests. I think it'd certainly be big if the Grizzlies can find a way to get some power plays here in the next 2 periods, because that can generate some offense, and they've got some weapons. I know they've lost quite a few players to the AHL, but you still got Johnny Walker. You got Andrew Nilsson. You can certainly distribute it with the best of them. And I think for the Grizzlies offensively, I think they got a chance in this game, but they probably need a couple power plays to do it.
Yeah, Tyson, I think that's exactly right. The power play is going to be key for Utah in this game, if they can get one. Somebody needs to, go into the dirty places, get a penalty, draw a penalty, and get the Grizzlies on the power play. Because what is a power play? A power play is sustained offensive pressure. That's the goal of the power play. So I think that's really going to help the Grizzlies move forward with their offensive pressure, because right now they're not getting a whole lot of it. And the shot count shows 15-5 in favor of the Steelheads. The Steelheads have the puck, as you said, and the Grizzlies don't. And so that's the main problem right now. But it's a 1-1 game. It's anybody's game right now. Grizzlies can come out here in the second period and have a strong showing and turn this thing in their favor.
Some other games involving Mountain Division teams tonight. Early third period, Kansas City and Wichita are tied at 1. Both clubs are over the 500 mark. Looks like Braden Watts has scored for Wichita, and Cole Koski has Kansas City's goal. Kansas City's outshot Wichita 27-16. That game is tied at 1, early third period. Second intermission over at Credit Union of Texas Event Center. The Red Hot Rapid City Rush lead Allen 3-1. Allen is in last place in the Mountain Division. Rapid City is 9-8. Looks like Matt Marcineau, Martin, and Alex Aliardi have the Rapid City goals. Hank Crone has his 8th of the year for the Americans, as Rapid City, after 2 periods, leads 3-1. Other action in overtime, Cincinnati and Toledo are currently tied at 1. And that game with a minute left in overtime, they might end up going to a shootout. Wheeling defeats Fort Wayne 4-2. Atlanta over Greenville 3-2. Reading defeats Norfolk 4-1. Norfolk falls to 2-17-1 this season. Jacksonville defeats Orlando 3-2. And that was a battle of Parker Gahagan for Jacksonville. Looks like Orlando's Brad Barone had the night off, as he was just the backup this evening. Jacksonville outshot Orlando 36-19. And we mentioned that score in particular. It looks like Derek Lodermeyer had 2 goals, because the Grizzlies are taking on Jacksonville 3 times next week. Next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And that's going to be a lot of fun, as there's 4 former Grizzlies on the roster. Hunter Skinner was scoreless tonight. Luke Martin had 1 assist on 3 shots. Travis Howe had 2 penalty minutes and had 1 assist for Jacksonville. And former Grizzly goaltender Parker Gahagan got the victory, stopping 17 of 19 in net. And Derek Lodermeyer looks like he's been a hot forward. He had 2 goals tonight, and he's been outstanding for the Icemen all season. The defending Kelly Cup champion Florida Everblades defeat Kalamazoo 4-1. Maine over Adirondack 4-3. South Carolina shuts out Savannah 3-0. Worcester over Newfoundland 6-4 in a matchup of Eastern Conference powerhouses. And the Trois-Rivières Lions get a 5-4 victory over the Iowa Heartlanders. We got familiar with the Lions last week. They are a very skilled offensive team. Looks like Anthony Beauregard, John Parker Jones, Pierre Dubé, and Olivier Galipo, as well as Colin Billick, had the goals for the Lions. Those were names that are very foreign to us as of a couple weeks ago, but now we're very familiar with the strengths and weaknesses of those guys. Their record goes to 9-8-1 on the season. Iowa falls to 4-9-3-1. We'll give you some college football scores here shortly, as Grizzlies and Steelheads are in the first intermission tied at 1. Guy, you think about that second period. Both teams last night scored 2 goals. And tonight, you think about the Grizzlies, you really think about the records of a lot of teams when they lead after 2 periods. It almost seems like a team like Idaho, especially with the way, they've controlled the shot count and with the way their defensive unit plays, a very smart, disciplined game. I would think it's critical for the Grizzlies to at least be tied after 2 periods, because of Idaho, with as smart as they are with defensemen like Matt Register, if they've got a lead after 40 minutes, it's almost all she wrote with a team that's 14-2, 0-1 this season.
Yeah, Tyson, I agree. And I think it's critical that the Grizzlies come out here with a lot of energy and a lot of intensity to start the period. I personally think that the Grizzlies need to get the next goal in this game. I think if Idaho scores it, they're going to clamp down on this thing and make it really tough for the Grizzlies to come back in this game. I think the Grizzlies need to get the next goal, get a leg up on the Steelheads, and hold that lead. They had the first goal in this game. They blew that lead. It's now tied 1-1. They got to find a way to get the lead and hold it.
We're tied at 1. Second period action will begin shortly. We mentioned a lot of forwards. We mentioned it yesterday, and we also mentioned it a little bit in the pregame show. All the forwards there in the AHL with the Colorado Eagles, 6 of them, the Grizzlies have lost. I think a couple of those were loans to other organizations with ECHL contract guys. But this week alone, Utah losing Zach Sekos and Cameron Wright. Well, the Colorado Avalanche, if you look at their injury list, you kind of understand why the Grizzlies are a bit shorthanded, as obviously some Grizzlies players are going to Colorado, and then some Colorado Eagles obviously going up to the Avalanche. Tonight, Boston defeats Colorado 5-1. So the defending champs go to 13-8-1 this season. But how about the start of the Boston Bruins? They are now 20-3 this season. It's amazing what the Bruins are able to do this year. I don't know if they're going to be able to sustain that all season, but the Boston Bruins have been outstanding this season. They defeat the Avalanche tonight 5-1. Other finals in the NHL, Wild defeat the Ducks 5-4 in a shootout. Ottawa over San Jose 5-2. Vegas defeats Detroit 4-1. Devils over the Flyers 3-2. Guys' favorite team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, defeat St. Louis 6-2. Oilers over the Canadiens 5-3. Later on tonight, Capitals are at the Flames. Coyotes are at the Canucks. Panthers are at the Kraken. And at 8:30, the Carolina Hurricanes are at the LA Kings. Going on right now, late third period, Blackhawks lead the Rangers 4-2. And in overtime, Tampa defeats Toronto 4-3. In college football, we saw earlier today where third-ranked TCU falls in overtime to Kansas State, 31-28. It'll be interesting to see what happens tomorrow as the college football playoff will be announced. Will TCU be in, or will Alabama jump them? Alabama does have 2 losses, but really it's going to come down to whether the committee respects the Big 12 enough to keep TCU in the top 4. It'll be remain to be seen. With Utah getting a victory last night, that pretty much knocks USC out of the playoffs, and that means that Ohio State most likely is going to be one of those 4 teams in the college football playoff. How about this for a halftime score? Michigan, who's ranked 2nd in the country and undefeated at 12-0, they're just up by 1 point against Purdue in the Big Ten championship game. At the half, Michigan leads Purdue 14-13. Also at half, the number 9 ranked Clemson Tigers, they lead North Carolina 24-10. That's the ACC championship game. Neither team's going to make the college football playoff, but Clemson is 10-2 this season, and North Carolina is 9-3. Weber State gets knocked out 33-25 to Montana State. Weber State's season comes to an end, but they were 10-3. They had a very successful season over in Ogden. In the Mountain West Championship game, Fresno State defeats Boise State 28-16. That game is played just down the road of Idaho Central Arena over at Albertson Stadium on the blue turf. And, I was talking to Craig Handy, our former worker here, who's a big Nebraska fan. I said, hey, maybe another team that resides in Boise will fall tonight to, this being the Grizzlies. So Boise State loses the Mountain West Championship 28-16 to Fresno State. In the SEC championship game, Georgia defeats LSU 50-30. And Deion Sanders' Jackson State Tigers, they defeat Southern 43-24. The reports have Deion Sanders being hired as the new head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. So we'll see if those are true, as Deion Sanders, I think, is making a decision either today or tomorrow. He's probably going to be the new head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes. His Jackson State team is 13-0 on the season, and they win the SWAC championship 43-24. When we come back, we'll have second period action over at Idaho Central Arena as the Grizzlies and Steelheads are tied at 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, as you've been listening to the Siegfried and Jensen Intermission Report right here. This is Utah Grizzlies Hockey.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
And we'll have second period action here shortly as the Grizzlies take on the Steelheads. We're tied at 1. I'm Tyson Whiting hanging out with Guy Carenza. See what happens in the second. That's Utah's most successful period this season, where they've outscored opponents 20-16. For Idaho, they've got an outstanding edge in the third periods, and they ended up winning the third period last night, which in turn meant that they won the game. Other scores from the league, Rapid City with 3 goals early in the third period. 3 goals in the first 3 minutes and 57 seconds of the third. They now lead the Allen Americans 6-1. And if you look at the Mountain Division standings, the Grizzlies, we mentioned all the road games they've got in the first half of the season. They just got to find a way to tread water, because the Grizzlies will be at Maverick Center for the majority of the second half of the season. Right now, Idaho's in first place with 29 standings points. Wichita's in second with 20 points. Rapid City is tied for third with Kansas City. Both teams have 18 points. Tulsa is in fifth place with 17. The Grizzlies right now have a record of 8-9 and are in sixth place, and Allen is bringing up the rear with only 11 standings points and a .367 winning percentage. It'll be interesting to see what happens next week as the Grizzlies take on the Jacksonville Icemen. Jacksonville got a 3-2 victory, and they are now have 18 standings points, as Jacksonville's got a pretty similar record to the Grizzlies. They are now 9-9 on the season and are back to the 500 mark. They started play 8-9. The Grizzlies are also 8-9. We'll see if they return to the 500 mark. As, hey, what do you know? The second period is underway as the Grizzlies win the face-off and they dump it in, skating from right to left, as Johnny Walker will feed it over to the right side and looking for McDonald. Idaho cuts in front of him, feeds it out to the Utah blue line. Bryson Martin ahead towards Robinson. Robinson back towards Walker, and the Steelheads clear it back out to center ice. Tyler Penner with a trip of an Idaho skater, and Penner battling as Grizzlies dump it in. Remy Poirier will give it to Matt Register, who's behind the Idaho nets. Steelheads are skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. They'll feed it over to the near side for Darren Brady. Passes wide of the mark, taken by Raby. He'll hand it off to Jamison, who skates along the left wing. Jamison stops near the boards. He'll feed it to the corner, looking for Michalchuk. It rolls around the wall. Raby in the corner trying to get around Register. As Raby goes down, Register now holds Raby to the ice. Puck squirts from one corner to the other. Chasing after it's Victor Bartley. He gets to Michalchuk. He'll bounce it off the end wall. Michalchuk in the near corner will drop it back off for Raby. Raby back to the corner as he skates towards the slot. Grizzlies battling in the corner 2-on-1, but Pelton Bice will throw it to Brady, who's behind Idaho's net. They'll feed it to the far side for Register. Now to Domowski. He crosses center ice, and he'll lift the puck as it bounces into the left corner as it glides off the wall and towards the right corner. Aaron Tho skates after it. He collides with Kawaguchi. Now back to Kawaguchi. Penner holds up Kawaguchi behind the goal line. Now puck goes towards the far side. Grizzlies with the left wing pass to center ice for Fitz, who dumps it in. Fitz gets around Hedrick over in the near corner. Tried to drop it off for a Grizzly. Cole Tarchi hits Murphy in the corner, but Murphy comes out of it with the puck. He'll lift it high into the air, does Wade Murphy, and it goes behind Corey Thomas, who tried to bat it out of the air. Bryson Martin was a forward last night. Looks like he's playing a defensive role this evening. He'll dump it in. Poirier skates towards the near side, and he'll wrap it around the wall towards the right wing boards as Idaho will skate across center ice. Now down the middle, Bardo gains the line, tried to skate towards the left circle and lost the puck. 3-on-2. Grizzlies skate towards the right circle. Walker with a shot. Saved by Poirier. A Grizzly runs into Poirier, and the puck glides all the way out deep into the Grizzly zone. As play is stopped, as a Grizzly ran into Poirier, and it was Dylan Fitz. Fitz got beat up pretty good over in the crease as he's on two knees. And I would imagine the Grizzlies might be on the power play for the first time tonight, as Fitz trying to get back to his feet, but he gets up slowly. As there was a 3-on-2, Grizzlies took a shot from the right side, and it was Walker Puck bounced off of Poirier, and then Fitz, who's holding his face as we get Colin Lee out there. Looked like a Steelhead ran into Fitz, and then Fitz ran into Poirier, and Owen Hedrick pushed Fitz, and then Fitz kind of got in the middle of it. Looked like Dylan started bleeding a little bit, and it's hard to say whether Fitz was pushed into Poirier or not, but it looked like Owen Hedrick took offense, and Fitz looks like he's going to be, we'll see if he'll end up coming back in the game, as he got up slowly, and the trainer, Colin Lee, assisted him towards the, he was walking on his own, though. It does look like the Grizzlies are going to be on the power play for the first time tonight. Jade Miller gets 2 minutes. He's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. We're tied at 1. Grizzlies this season are 21.7% on the power play, which is 10th best in the league. Oh, but the Grizzlies also get a penalty. Never mind. Walker's also in the box, so it's going to be a 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Boy, I thought for a second the Grizzlies would get a power play, but it's 4-on-4. Off the draw, Raby with a shot that goes wide. We're skating 4-on-4 for 2 minutes as Walker is also in the box, serving 2 minutes. As Dawson Bardo crosses center ice, dumps it in. Grizzlies with an outlet pass to center ice. It connects. Raby on the left side steps over the line. Centering pass is picked off. Bardo back to Hedrick as we're skating 4-on-4. Owen Hedrick back behind his net. Ice opens up a little bit more. Could be an opportunity for a goal to be scored. As the Steelheads cross center ice, Jack Becker, Idaho's goal scorer, skates towards the left circle. Shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out toward the right side. Becker along the boards. Gets it towards Svanenbergs. Svanenbergs has had some success against the Grizzlies this season. He'll feed it to Hedrick. Hedrick on the right side gets it poked away by Nilsson. Andrew in the corner gets it, and he'll keep the puck as Nilsson will now skate north-south. They'll feed it out to center ice for Penner. Tyler to the right side, skates over the line, over to the right circle. I tried to feather it out to McCallchuck out in front. Idaho picked it off. Steelheads 2-on-2. Gained the offensive line as Idaho skating down the middle. Pelton Bice with a shot that goes wide as it glances off the end glass. Bice gets it to the point for Register. Now back to the left side. They feed it over to the right. Domowski with a shot saved by Metcalf. Domowski gets the rebound on the right side as he stops near the corner. Domowski still with the puck late in the 4-on-4 situation as he gets held up by Martin. Domowski goes down. Grizzlies battling. Oh, they're going to call a penalty on Martin as Martin kind of dragged around Domowski in the right point, and the official spotted it. Holding is going to be the call, and Bryson Martin will go to the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. Well, Jamison was nearby as well, but the official right there was able to spot Martin with the hold. So we'll skate. It looks like we got 31 seconds of a 4-on-3, and then Walker will come out of the box for Utah, and Miller will come out for Idaho, and then we'll have a 5-on-4. So 31 seconds worth of a 4-on-3, 16-10 left in the second period. We're tied at 1. Idaho wins the face-off as Matt Register will drop it off for Bardo. Bardo back to Register. One-timer saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to the right side. Grizzlies will clear it out to center. Chasing after it and getting it is Jamison. Jamison to the left side. I couldn't get around Bardo as the puck rolled towards Poirier. Now the Steelheads come back the other way. Idaho 3-on-2. They feed it out to the right side as Kawaguchi gets it over to the near goal line. Passes wide to White. Back to Kawaguchi. I tried to feather it out in front. It glanced off a Grizzly stick. Utah has it. Now we're skating 5-on-4. Utah at neutral ice will dump it in. Johnny Walker chases after it. Gets near Poirier. Poirier feeds it to the near side. Now Matt Register gets over to Bardo as there's 1:16 left in the 5-on-4 power play for Idaho. Steelhead skate from left to right. As Matt Register with a left wing pass to neutral ice. Idaho gains the line. White will dump it in. As chasing after it's Bartley. He collides with Franklin as the Steelheads over on the left side near the corner, trying to clear it out as Pouncey. He'll get it to Raby. Raby skates along the right side, 2-on-2. Raby stops in the right circle. I tried to center it to Bartley, cutting out in front of the net. It got poked away by Register as the Steelheads over on the far side get it to Register. Late in the Idaho power play, 40 seconds left as Matt Register will backpedal into his own corner. He'll feed it across off the near wall for Bardo. Dawson Bardo with playing a lot of minutes tonight, wearing number 51. He'll gain the offensive line onside, looking for Domowski in the right point. Puck rolls back to Bardo, who's behind the net. He'll feed it to the left side for Franklin. Now back up top for Pelton Bice. He'll get it to the right circle for Domowski. He'll take a lefty shot. It's blocked by Thomas. Goes to Utah on the far side, and the Grizz clear it out. Good penalty kill work by the Grizzlies as chasing after its Owen Hedrick deep in the Steelhead zone. 10 seconds and counting left in the Steelheads power play as Idaho crosses center ice. Hedrick drops it off. Idaho enters the zone with momentum. As Bice, left circle shot. That one goes wide as they try to go glove side on Metcalf. We're back to 5-on-5 skating as the puck's over in the far corner. Thomas gets hit. Idaho will feed it back to Keller. It goes past him as it glides along the near wall. Hedrick back towards the right circle looking for Bice. He looked to center it. It bounced off the stick of Dylan Fitz. And Fitz is back in there. Didn't miss a shift as he now comes off. And taking its Bice. He skates in from the left side. Centers it to Keller. Shot. Glove saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on with 13:44 left in the second period. Nobody has scored yet in the second as we're tied at 1 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
We're tied at 1. Grizzlies and the Steelheads. Neil Robinson scored 8:29 into the first period. Jack Becker tied it up. 12:59 in. It's Teddy Bear Toss night over in Boise. Remember, the Grizzlies Teddy Bear Toss will be 2 weeks from now, December 17th. That's going to be the Grizzlies' next home game as they take on the Kansas City Mavericks. Draws in the Grizzlies zone as Idaho wins it. Canati with a shot, and we get a penalty right off the draw as Canati was taking the shot. And I wonder if the Grizzlies are finally going to get on a power play here tonight, as there's 13:42 left in the second. And both teams will kind of glide towards the Grizzlies zone. Colton Keller goes to the box. So Keller is going to serve 2 minutes in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. And for the first time tonight, Grizzlies are going to go on the power play. I thought we were going to have a Powerade power play when Miller went to the box, but then Johnny Walker got a roughing minor. Miller also got a roughing minor, 221 in, and then Bryson Martin got a holding minor, 350 in. Keller is in the box right now. 13:42 left in the second as the Grizzlies finally are on the power play for the first time tonight. Utah wins the draw. Andrew Nilsson will skeet towards his left up top. Now drop it off to the right side for Raby. Back up top to Nilsson in the high slot. Andrew surveys. He'll throw it to the right for Raby. Dakota just outside the circle. Feeds it across the Fitz. Fitz back to Nilsson. Andrew will bounce it off the far wall for Raby. Raby dancing around to the right point. Lobs it back up top for Nilsson. Now towards Fitz, but Idaho picked it off. Puck exits the zone as Nilsson back at center ice regathers it. He'll backpedal towards the Utah blue line as Nilsson will dance around. Now throw it to Johnny Walker. Walker on the right side now will skeet towards his left. Walker enters onside, but now will back it out to center ice. Grizzlies want to enter the offensive zone with momentum. Walker with a left wing pass that's wide to Fitz. Register gets it and clears it all the way out. Metcalf skates all the way out towards the corner. It ricochets off his stick and goes around the net, taken by Nilsson. Halfway through Utah's first power play of the game as Neil Robinson at neutral ice will nudge it ahead to Walker. Across to Nilsson, now to Fitz. Back to Nilsson in the left point. As Nilsson across to the right side for Raby. Lefty shot, and it goes wide as it glides along the near wing boards. Fitz gets the puck as he skates towards the corner now. He drops it back up top for Nilsson. Andrew with a lefty shot, and it goes wide. Puck glides towards the right corner. Robinson feeds it across. Now back to Fitz. Fitz has got an A on his sweater. He skates towards the left circle, just stops outside of it. Lobs it back up top for Nilsson. Andrew with a lefty wrist shot, and it goes wide. 30 seconds left in the power play. Fitz feeds it across to Raby. Now back up top to Nilsson. Back to Raby. One-timer, and that gets blocked out in front of Poirier. And the Steelheads clear it out to center. Nilsson gathers it again. He'll throw a pass that's picked off at center ice. Owen Hedrick skates towards the circle. Make that Becker. Becker skates in. Shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. Good move by Jack Becker, but he didn't really have much of a shooting angle. And the Grizzlies did a good job cutting him off. And all he could do is just roll it on to Metcalf, who covered up. Good job by Andrew Nilsson as Becker had to get around him. And then Metcalf covered up just to the left of his net towards the near side. As Garrett covers up, he's been active and busy here tonight. Late in the Grizzlies power play, draw is going to be in Utah's zone as Metcalf kind of shaking off the cobwebs. It kind of looks like all night. I got to call what I see. It doesn't look like he's 100%. Looks like he's kind of playing a little bit banged up. But Garrett's doing a good job here this evening. Off the draw, Brady with a shot. Kick saved by Metcalf in the butterfly position as it goes back towards Bartley. And Bartley over towards Martin. Back to Bartley as he'll skate towards the middle. As now we're back to 5-on-5 skating. Right wing pass. Grizzlies enter the zone. They look to center it to a cutter out in front. Gathered by McCallchuck. I tried to feed it out in front, and Idaho picked it off. Puck towards the near boards. Colatarchi with a big-time hit along the near wall as he hit Willie Nerum. They're going to call a penalty on Colatarchi as Colatarchi just leveled Willie Nerum along the near wing boards. And that's probably going to be a penalty. We'll see if somebody else goes for Idaho. Keller was in the area, so was Nerum. What a big-time hit by Colatarchi, but it looks like he's going to get penalized for it. Joey kind of looking around. Willie Nerum, who's a pretty physical player, he's talking with one of the linesmen as well. And the whistle blew rather quickly. Nerum argues his case, but it looks like he's going to get a penalty. As they show a replay, Colatarchi with a big-time hit on looked like Keller, and then Nerum came in and tried to confront Colatarchi, and then Nerum ended up getting a penalty. So Nerum's in the box. Let's see if a Grizzly is in there as they show Nerum on Flow Sports. And it looks like Utah's going to be back on the power play for 2 minutes. As Willie Nerum, the Illinois native, he's got pretty good size at about 6'4" and 225 pounds. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 10 games this season. So it's the second power play for the Grizzlies in the second frame as Willie Nerum gets 2 minutes, I imagine, for roughing as he went after Joey Colatarchi a little bit. Johnny Walker will take the face off. He's got Dylan Fitz to his left. And to his right, McCallchuck, Raby and Nilsson up top. Utah wins the face-off. McCallchuck, right side, shot. Kind of glided off his stick onto Poirier as McCallchuck didn't get all of it, and Poirier ends up covering up just in front of the crease. Good job by Idaho protecting Poirier, not letting the Grizzlies get an extra look out in front. We're tied at 1. 11-11 left in the second period as McCallchuck had a pretty good look. It looked like it bounced off a Steelhead. He was able to get something off it, but it bounced off a register, and that's how Poirier covered up. Draw's going to be in the right circle. A.J. White for Idaho and Johnny Walker for Utah. White wins the face-off. Idaho will fling it all the way down towards Garrett Metcalf. Garrett behind his net will stop it, and he'll get it over to the far side. 11 minutes left in the second period as Utah's on their second power play tonight. Andrew Nilsson glides along the left wing. He crosses center ice. Now wrap it around the boards. Register tries to cut it off on the right side. He trips up Walker. Walker on his keister right now. McCallchuck in the area. McCallchuck wearing number 25 in his second game for Utah. Idaho will take the puck away. A stick goes flying as the puck goes sailing all the way out towards Garrett Metcalf. Play starting to get physical once again. It's one of the best rivalries in the league. Nilsson back in his own zone about halfway through the power play. He'll drop it off for Raby. Dakota with great speed crosses center. Now he glides into the offensive zone. He'll throw it up top for Nilsson. He'll feed it across as Walker drops it off for Nilsson in the high slot. Andrew fakes a shot, throws it to Fitz. One-timer, saved by Poirier. Rebound goes to Idaho, and the Steelheads throw up past Fitz. Did Dylan keep it in? Looks like he did. He'll dump it off the end wall. Register will skate after it, and he'll clear it all the way down towards Metcalf. Both teams make a line change. 40 seconds left in the Grizzlies' second power play of the second period. We're halfway through the scheduled 60 minutes, tied at 1. Robinson scored earlier in the first period, and then Jack Becker tied it up 12:59 in. Robinson has the puck. He skates towards the right corner. He'll get it back to Bartley, trying to get it back to Robinson behind the net in the give and go. Now Bartley gets it in the left corner as he's being pushed by Misiak. Bartley gets it up top for Martin. Bryson with a lefty shot, and that one deflects off a stick and goes out of play with 9:35 left in the second. Actually, it looks like the tracking shots are impossible, it seems like. It looked like Poirier made a glove save there. I thought it deflected off a stick and went flying out of play. Poirier made a glove save with 9:35 left in the second. Draw's going to stay in the Steelhead zone. It's the 25th anniversary for the Idaho Steelheads. The Grizzlies celebrated their 25th anniversary a few years ago as Poirier made a routine glove save. As a draw late in the Grizzlies' power play is won by Utah. Bartley will get it across the right side. One-timer, and it gets blocked in front of Poirier as Idaho will carry it out to center ice 2-on-3. Steelheads dump it in. Big-time hit delivered by Utah's Bryson Martin. As out of the penalty box right now is Willie Nerum. We're back to 5-on-5 skating. Utah's 0 for 2 on the power play tonight as Bartley will drive it deep into the Steelhead zone. Now right circle, shot goes around the net. Robinson gets it. I try to find a cutter, and it's Penner. Penner glides towards the left corner. He'll get it back to Robinson behind the net. He gets dragged down, and another penalty is going to be called. Ty Pelton Bice dragged down Neil Robinson behind the Steelheads net, and a penalty is going to be called on Idaho. So the Grizzlies are going to go back on the power play for the third time here in the second period when we come back. 9 minutes even left in the second frame. Grizzlies won and the Steelheads won. This is Grizzlies hockey presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Now there's 9 minutes left in the second period. We're tied at 1. Neither team has scored here in the second frame. Neil Robinson scored 8:29 in, and Willie and Jack Becker 12:59 in. Ty Pelton Bice dragged down Neil Robinson behind Idaho's net, and he's in the box for 2 minutes. And the Grizzlies will have their third power play of the second period. And it's crazy considering the Grizzlies didn't have many. They only had one power play the first 4 periods of this series. Idaho wins the draw, and they sail it all the way out towards Garrett Metcalf, who's been busy tonight. Garrett has stopped 15 of 16. As the Grizz run out to center ice, they have outshot Idaho 8-1 in the second period. As Walker will bounce it off the Steelhead as it goes deeper into the Grizzlies zone. Andrew Nelson will race after it. Andrew casually skates around Metcalf's net. Now he'll feed it to the far side from McCallchuck. Back to Raby. He crosses center ice, left wing pass to Walker. Walker enters the offensive zone. Tried to drop it back off, but it goes into the Grizzlies zone again. Idaho's got one of the best penalty kill units, if not the best penalty kill unit in the league. As the Grizzlies skate from right to left. Soft pass out to Walker at center ice. He'll throw it to his right. McCallchuck gets spun around at center ice, but he dumps it in. Idaho chases after it, and the Steelheads will sail all the way out towards Metcalf. As it bounces off the end wall, Metcalf behind his net will hand it off to Walker. Johnny around the net, gets to neutral ice. Now he'll drop it back off the screen. Taken by Raby across the center ice. Now gain the line, and he'll feed it to the left point for Nilsson. Andrew over to the right circle. Now they try to get it out in front to Raby. He'll take a shot, and no goal. It hit the side. It hit the pipe. It hit the post and no goal. Oh, it looked like it was close. Nilsson over to the right circle. Lefty shot. See, rebound, shot, and a score! Johnny Walker gets his 8th of the year as he got a rebound out in front from a shot from the right circle. And the Grizzlies get a power play tally as they've taken a 2-1 lead. Walker had 2 goals last night, and he's got 3 goals in this series. All right, how about Johnny Walker as he high-fives everybody on the Grizzlies bench? And I'm pretty sure an assist is going to go to the shot taker over in the right circle. Let's see who took that shot. I think it was Raby. And then rebound out in front, and Johnny Walker with some loose change. That's Walker's 4th power play goal of the season. Raby's going to get an assist, and we'll see who else gets an assist. It'll be Raby's 10th point of the season. Johnny Walker does it again as he's got 3 goals in this series, and what can you say? He's the guy that gets out in front of the net and makes things happen. He's done that all season. Johnny Walker has been one of Utah's best forwards as he gets a pat in the back from Mason Whalen, the Grizzlies equipment manager, as with 7:40 left in the second. It's the Grizzlies 2 and the Steelheads 1 as we're back to 5-on-5 skating. Utah's now 1 for 3 on the power play tonight. They've outshot the Steelheads 9-1 in the second period. Utah gets it on the right side. They lift it out to center ice. Bouncing puck will carry him into the Steelhead zone. Matt Register chases after it, and looks like it's going to be icing on the Grizzlies. 7:24 is left in the second, and what a game we've had. And really, the Grizzlies offense, I think you think about the difference between the Idaho series a couple weeks ago and then what happened last week against the Lions, and here so far, it's the Grizzlies getting out in front of those areas out in front of the net. You know, they've been able to score some some goals out in front. That's how Robinson scored in the first period, and that's how Walker scored here in the second. Off the draw, Idaho skates in. Shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out towards the right side. A.J. White. His action's in the Grizzlies zone. Brady back to White. A.J. will get it over to the high slot for Domowski, who skates towards his left. He'll throw it out to Register on the left point. He fakes a shot. Now he takes one. Now a lot of traffic out in front. It goes wide. Idaho to the right side. Domowski fakes it to Brady. Now get it across to Register. Now back to the right side. Now up top to Register. Register will fling it around the boards. Brady on the right side will throw it to the corner. It hits off the linesman. Now it goes back to Brady. He'll get it to Register. He fakes a shot and throws it to the left side. Idaho, toe drag. They throw it to the far goal line. Shot kick saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. 6:35 left in the second. We got a penalty as the slash was called. There's a lot of traffic out in front of the net. And I imagine that's going to be on Utah as Garrett Metcalf kind of shaking out the cobwebs as he skates towards the far corner. As Idaho had the puck in the offensive zone for a decent amount of time, and Utah gets called for slashing. And so Idaho is going to be back on the power play. Bryson Martin for the second time tonight is in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. 6:35 left in the second period. Utah leads 2-1. Johnny Walker with the goal, Dakota Raby, and guess who? Andrew Nilsson with an assist, his 13th power play assist of the season. 2-1 Grizzlies. Idaho wins the draw. Shot saved by Metcalf. A lot of traffic out in front. Everybody hacking away. It's towards Bartley, who's on two knees out in the crease as Idaho will come out of the pile with the puck. Hedrick will throw it to the right circle for Domowski. As Domowski gets over to Hedrick. Now to Bice. Back to Hedrick. One-timer. And he scores. I got redirected by a Steelhead out in front. As Jack Becker gets his second of the game as he redirected the Owen Hedrick pass and kind of a one-time tap into the back of the net. A power play goal for the Steelheads, and they've tied it up at 2. What a crazy sequence of special teams we've had here in the second period. Walker tied it up, and then Idaho got on a power play after Bryson Martin got called for slashing early in the Idaho power play. Jack Becker connected. Let's see if they show a replay as they do. And it looked like it was more of a pass as Hedrick tried to feed it out in front to Becker. And it was just kind of one of those one-time tap off of Becker's stick that lifted over the shoulder of Garrett Metcalf. Great hands by Becker, who now has 2 goals tonight. We're tied at 2 as Grizzlies win the faceoff, and they throw it all the way deep into the Steelhead zone. 6 minutes left in the second. Turnover out in front of Poirier, but the Steelheads get it back towards the right corner. Now we got a whistle. I think we've got another penalty as the referee skates towards center ice. And I think we're going to have another power play. 5:58 left in the second as there was a battle out in front. Dawson Bardo is going to skate towards the penalty box. Grizzlies are going to be back on the power play when we come back in 1 minute. 5:58 left in the second. We're tied at 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Dawson Bardo gets 2 minutes for slashing. This will be the Grizzlies' 4th power play of the game. They're currently 1 for 3. Idaho is 1 for 4 on the power plays. We've seen a ton of special teams here in the second period. Draw's going to be in the Steelhead zone. Score was tied at 1 after 1 period. Johnny Walker scored a power play goal, 12:20 in, as he got a rebound from a Dakota Raby shot. Raby and Andrew Nilsson with the assist. And then Idaho got a power play goal of their own as the Steelheads won the face-off, and they cleared all the way out towards Garrett Metcalf as Grizzlies will start the attack skating from right to left. Jack Becker scored his second of the game, 13:49 into the second with Owen Hedrick getting the assist. Nelson crosses center ice. He'll throw it to his right. He bounced off the Kawaguchi. Now it goes to center ice, Idaho. And Michalchuk pokes it away from Misiak, and Michalchuk will throw it towards Garrett Metcalf as it goes around the net. Raby over to the near side wearing number 22. He gets the puck and he'll cross center ice. Raby will feed it over to the left side. It bounced off the boards, goes to Svanenbergs. He'll skate towards the corner, lifts it. Nilsson kept it in. He'll throw it to Walker, back up top for Nilsson. He winds and fires. He scores! Andrew Nilsson gets his third of the year as Utah gets their second power play goal of the second period. And Utah is retaking the lead. It's a 3-2 game. What a blast by Andrew Nilsson. And that's another power play point. His second power play point of the second period as he got an assist on Walker's goal. Andrew Nilsson's been outstanding as he's one of the best defensemen in the league, and he's shown it time and time again. Nilsson was in the slot and just fired away stick side over Remy Poirier. So 2 power play goals by the Grizzlies. Andrew Nilsson gets a pat on the back from Ryan Kanasowicz and the assistant Jared Pike. Nilsson's got a point in 5 straight games as we're back to 5-on-5 skating. Utah leads 3-2. Puck deep in the Grizzlies zone. 5 minutes left in the second. Walker will throw it out to center ice. The only guy there's a Steelhead. Hedrick skates in from the right side, tries to get around Penner. Penner tried to light up Hedrick in the corner and missed. And goes back to Utah's. Neil Robinson crosses center ice. He'll dump it in. He has to get around Jack Becker's got 2 goals tonight. Nick Canati around the net. He'll throw it to the far side as Idaho skates from left to right. Puck bounced off the stick and Dylan Fitz and flies out of play. Well, it looked like that thing almost got towards the camera operator as the puck bounced off of Fitz's stick and went all the way towards press row. Looks like a fan in the second deck comes away with a souvenir puck with 4:39 left in the second. Grizzlies lead 3-2. They're trying to end a 5-game losing streak to the Steelheads as the Grizzlies are trying to get back to the 500 mark. They are 8-9 on the season. Next week, the Grizzlies are going to be taking on the Jacksonville Icemen. They're trying to figure out where the faceoff is, and it looks like it's going to be at center ice. We'll go over all the penalties and all the scoring of the second period, although if we went through all the penalties of the second period, it would take us about 20 minutes, which would be about all the intermission time. As Idaho wins the draw at center ice, and they dump it all the way down, but they dumped it all the way down from Steelheads territory, so icing is called with 4:32 left in the second. On the Nilsson goal, an assist goes to Johnny Walker. So it's the second straight multiple point game for Walker, who has 1 goal and 1 assist in the second period. Andrew Nilsson also with 1 goal and 1 assist in this second period. Draw's going to be in the left circle. Christian Simeone will take it, wearing number 24. He wins the draw as the puck goes to McDonald, now to Nilsson. Andrew, who's picked up 6 multiple point games this season, over to Fitz in the left circle. Fitz over in the corner, gets it back up top looking for Nilsson, but the puck glides towards Colton Keller. He'll feed it to center ice, 2-on-3. Still skate in. Domowski stops along the near boards. He'll throw it to Bardo, who skates towards his left, drops it off for Register. Register back towards Misiak and make that Domowski. Domowski looks to center it to Keller. It kicks off the skate of Kolatarchi, and Nilsson will get it out to center ice. He'll feed it to Simeone. Grizzlies try to dump it in, but it's picked off by Bardo in the Steelhead zone. He'll toss it to his right, and it's picked off by Raby, and out it goes to Fitz. Dylan skates along the far side. He gets hit by Register. Now Fitz in the corner looking for Simeone. Simeone trying to get to Raby out the near goal line and squirts towards the slot. Idaho gets the puck. 3.5 minutes left in the second period. Keller gets to center ice and he'll lift it high into the air. Puck bounces to Martin in the left corner. Grizzlies will ricochet it off the near wall, and it's taken by Beckers on hat trick watch. Now out in front of the net, White with a shot saved by Metcalf, and the puck ends up going towards center ice. Idaho regathers it as Wade Murphy gets around Michalchuk, gets to center ice, and rolls it around the wall. As Aaron Tho collides with a Steelhead, and it's Kawaguchi over in the right corner. I'll feed it up top for Brady. Darren skates towards his left. He'll take a shot, and it bounced off the end wall and goes towards the far side for Michalchuk. 3-on-3. Grizzlies gain the offensive line. Raby has it glide off his stick and rolls towards Poirier, who covers up in the crease. As we get a whistle, and Nick Canati and Dakota Raby mix things up. As Canati and Raby looked like Raby was trying to skate towards Poirier, and Canati was just doing everything he could to make sure that Raby didn't get there. Both guys aren't very big. Canati goes about 5'10", and so does Raby. Those guys mix it up in the corner a little bit as Canati kind of pushed Raby into the corner, and then you can see the feistiness on Flow Sports of both guys. A little bit of a push there. Keaton Jamison making sure he keeps the peace. And a couple words being exchanged, but nothing more than an offensive zone drop for the Grizzlies with 2:53 left in the second. Draw won by Idaho as they're skating from left to right as we see it in the second. As Becker will give it over to Svanenberg. Svanenberg steps over the offensive line. Left circle shot. That gets blocked before it gets to Metcalf. As Svanenberg throws it up top for Bardo. He'll wheel it around the boards. Becker in the right corner cuts it off as he'll skate towards the right point. Becker will backhand it out to the corner as Idaho spreads the ice in the offensive zone. Now Miller will skate towards his left. He'll feed the left circle. Now back to Svanenberg's right side shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes out to the left as Utah chasing after it. And the Grizz will get it out to center ice. Walker throws it up ahead looking for Raby. It's picked off by Hedrick. Now out towards the Utah line. Poked by Bartley. Now Idaho's Svanenbergs will throw it out to the right corner. Idaho chasing after it as Jade Miller collides with a Grizzly, and it's Connor McDonald. Turnover. Centering pass. Shot. Save. It goes wide. Shot goes wide as Utah turned it over, and Pelton Bice's shot went wide. Grizzlies skate over the offensive line. Fitz throws it to the left corner. As Register around his own net. Will feed it over to the far side. Now cross-ice pass to Hedrick. Picked off by Nilsson. Andrew throws it across to the right side. Grizzlies dump it in. They were allegedly onside as they still had skate around the net. A minute and a half left in the second period as it goes out to Keller. Right side, he steps over the offensive line, tries to get it to the corner, gets poked away by Nilsson. Now Utah's gets it to Kolatarchi. Joey crosses center ice. He'll lift it high into the air, and it stays in play as it ricochets off the end wall. Poirier will feed it out to the near side. Idaho will ice the puck. Corey Thomas chases after it, and so does Bryson Martin as the arm is raised by the linesman with 1:15 left here in the second period. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. Make sure to follow the Grizzlies on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as Snapchat. I'm on Twitter at Tyson on Sports. I am also on Bumble. I've been very active on that this week. Hey, it's possible. We'll cross our fingers. Might be the first date I ever get in about a decade here. Guy Carenzas had to hear my dating story forever. Idaho skates into the offensive zone. Keller gets it poked away. As we got about a minute left in the second period, Raby crosses center ice. And he'll gain the line, dump it in as he didn't have numbers. I try to feather it out to Jamison. It gets kicked over to the right corner. Jamison throws to Nilsson around the boards, looking for the left corner. As Idaho chases after it, Utah bounces Idaho off the wall. As Idaho back behind their net, as they spread the ice, 44 seconds left in the second, they'll get it out to center. Now Idaho skates in, but they're offside. As skating across the line before the play was Ryan Domowski, and it was a good call, but he argues his case. 39 seconds is left in the second period. Utah leads 3-2. Domowski will take a seat on the bench. Head coach Everett Sheen looks nearby. Domowski angry as he slams his stick along the boards. White will take the draw against Tyler Penner. Penner picked up a first period assist as Utah wins the draw. Neil Robinson will throw it back towards Bartley. Victor lifts it high into the air. It bounces into the Steelhead zone. Robinson chases after it as he kicks it off the end wall. Robinson feeds over to the right side for McDonald. He'll get it to Walker. Walker tried to drop it off for Penner. Pass was wide of the mark as it goes back towards Walker. Now to the left corner. Less than 20 seconds left in the period. Penner over to Bartley. He takes a shot on it. Got ricocheted off a body. Walker on two knees. He gets back to his feet. Idaho will feed it out to the right side at center ice. Murphy dumps it in. Grizzlies get it back to center ice and deep into the Steelhead zone. Is it going to be icing? Yes, it is. 3.7 seconds left in the second period. We'll go over all the news from around the world of sports. Looks like Deion Sanders has found a new job. We'll tell you where it is coming up next. And we will also talk with Guy Carenza and get his perspective on what was a pretty wild second period. And from the Grizzlies' perspective, a pretty successful one with 2 power play goals and Idaho with a power play goal of their own. Draws in the right circle, taken by Becker. And won by Becker. Svanenberg, sharp angled shot saved by Metcalf. Time runs out as Idaho was looking for a last second shot, but time ran out on the Steelheads in the second period. It's Utah 3, Idaho 2. We're back in 2 minutes for the Siegfried and Jensen intermission report as 2 power play goals in the second period. Have led the Grizzlies on top. Idaho with the second period power play tally of their own. Grizzlies have the lead 3-2, and we're back in 2 minutes on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
When you pay with the Nitro card at Maverick, you always save 10 cents or more on fuel every gallon, every day. And you could save a whole lot more thanks to Nitro Best Price. Pick up a Nitro card and upgrade your Adventure Club account today.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
Maverick's new bean-to-cup machines always deliver a freshly ground cup of coffee on demand, so you can enjoy any of our premium roasts at their best, day or night, hot or iced. Enjoy a fresh cup today.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can, and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Second intermission, presented by Siegfried and Jensen as Utah leads 3-2. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza, and we'll talk shop here in a couple minutes. Neil Robinson got Utah on the board first, 8:29 in, as it was a great centering pass from Tyler Penner. I think it's possible Johnny Walker, who was involved in the play, I think Walker might get an assist added at some point. It's not now, but I got to think that Johnny Walker could end up with 3 points tonight if he gets an assist added on that Robinson goal. Utah scored first. They are 6-2 this season when scoring first. Idaho tied it up 12:59 in. Jack Becker, his first of 2 goals on the night. Wade Murphy and Darren Brady with the assist. It was the teddy bear toss goal, as it is teddy bear toss night over at Idaho Central Arena. Remember, the Grizzlies teddy bear toss night is going to be 2 weeks from now against the Kansas City Mavericks. That's the Grizzlies' next home game. Make sure to get your tickets to UtahGrizzlies.com and bring multiple stuffed animals to throw on the ice after Utah's first goals. Idaho's fans had a pretty good showing, and obviously Grizzlies fans want to match that with a good showing 2 weeks from now, as it will be teddy bear toss night, and it's also going to be ugly sweater night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. When Becker scored, we had quite a bit of a delay, but that was just to be expected. Idaho outshot Utah 15-5 in the first period, and the score was tied at 1 after 20 minutes. I was kind of wondering where the Grizzlies going to get a power play. Well, both teams had a few power plays in the second period. The one that ended up leading to Johnny Walker's goal, I think, was taken by Ty Pelton Bice. Exactly 11 minutes into the second period, he got a tripping minor, and then the puck ended up in the right side. Nelson was over he's kind of up top. He was kind of floating from left to right, and the puck ended up to the right side. Nelson threw it to Raby. Raby took the shot from the right circle, bounced off of Poirier, and Johnny Walker was Johnny on the spot as he was right in front of the net, and he just got a rebound. Walker now has 4 power play goals on the season. It almost looked like the Raby shot kind of found Poirier in kind of a tough angle where he allowed a rebound as it kicked off his pad, as they show the replay on Flow Sports, and Walker put it away. And think about the Grizzlies' offensive success. It's been getting in those areas where you get those goals out in front of the net, especially when you're going to face good goaltenders, as Idaho has. So Walker's 8th goal of the season is his 4th power play tally. Time of that goal, 12:20 in. And then Idaho got in the power play as Bryson Martin got a slashing minor. Jack Becker scored for the second time tonight. Owen Hedrick with the assist. Then the Grizzlies got on a power play as Dawson Bardo got a slashing minor, 14:02 in. Johnny Walker got an assist. The puck ended up in the high slot with Andrew Nilsson. and Andrew fired away, and he's got that wicked shot. Kind of reminiscent of Charles Edward Dastu last season, although Nilsson does get his goals from a different spot than Dastu does. Dastu is kind of a finisher, whereas Nilsson's kind of quarterbacking the power play up top. Nilsson fired away, and it went stick side over Remy Poirier. Nilsson has three goals this season, 2 of them on the power play. How about coming into play tonight? You think about Nilsson, who is, ever since he had that game against Kansas City in early November where he had 6 assists and 5 of those points came on the power play. Nilsson so far this year has 2 goals and 13 assists. If you count the 2 points he had tonight, 2 goals and 13 assists this season on the power play. The 13 assists and the 15 points each lead the league, and they lead the league by a pretty decent margin. Former Grizzly Trey Bradley is among the league leaders in power play goals. He now plays for Reading, but Andrew Nilsson has really made a big difference in the Grizzlies power play. And Guy and I kind of talked about it, and we'll talk about it here. The Grizzlies, they've been out. You think about the first period, Idaho outshot them 15-5, but in the second period, Grizzlies outshot them 10-9. In fact, if you think about the first half of the second period, Utah at one point had a 9-1 edge on the shot count in the second period. Garrett Metcalf was a little bit more active in the second half of the second period, and he's looked good tonight, stopping 22 of 24. But, Guy, I kind of had a feeling that, the Grizzlies, all they needed was a couple power plays because they've been pretty dominant in that facet of the game over the last handful of contests. They're able to get some power plays, and Nilsson and Walker, kind of the 2 guys we were thinking about, end up coming up big for Utah.
Yeah, Tyson, you called it. The power play was the key for the Grizzlies. They were able to capitalize on it twice in the second period. I think a big turning point for the Grizzlies in this game. Maybe talk about the shot count. 10-9 in that second period as opposed to 15-5 in favor of Idaho in the first. That shows a shift in momentum, and the score reflects that 3-2. So I like the way the Grizzlies came out and played the second period, and they made the most of their opportunities.
Not a lot of shots for the Grizzlies through 2 periods. Andrew Nilsson leads the way with 3. Vladislav Mikalchuk has 2. Fitz and Walker has 2. So does Corey Thomas. But Johnny Walker, we talked about it after the Idaho series a couple weeks ago at Maverick Center because the Grizzlies only had the 3 goals in 3 games. And we're kind of wondering, what do the Grizzlies need to do to get the offensive momentum going? And we kind of talked about getting out in front of the nets, making those things happen where you're not scoring from out near the blue line. You're getting in those areas. And the Grizzlies really did a good job of that in the Lions series. And once again here tonight, you think about the 2 of the 3 goals. Robinson was out in front of the net on a good pass from Penner. I mean, the total distance of that goal is probably no more than 10 feet. And then the Walker goal, he was just out in front of the net. He wasn't in the crease, but he was pretty close to it when he scored. And then Nilsson, obviously, with a blast from the high slot. But 2 of the 3 goals out in front of the net, and that's a big difference in this game.
Yeah, Tyson, I think those greasy goals, as I like to call them, are key in these types of games. The Grizzlies aren't getting a lot of shots. That's fine. Make sure that those shots are quality shots. And if you are shooting them, make sure you get out on the rebound. Make sure you, A, screen the goaltender, and 2, when you do that, either get a tip in or be on that rebound as soon as it comes out. And the Grizzlies were able to do that on 2 occasions here. And that's the difference.
Grizzlies are 4-1 when leading after 2 periods this season. Last year, the Grizzlies only lost 1 game when leading after 2, but it's going to be tough in the third period because Idaho, they've been a pretty dangerous team in closing out games themselves.
Yeah, Idaho is a wicked dangerous team in the third period, a +20 goal differential in the third period. So this game is far from over. It's going to take a complete effort, a full 60 minutes for the Grizzlies if they want to beat the Steelheads here tonight.
Idaho has outscored their opponents 29-9 in the third periods this season. Well, if you hear some background noise, we're high top section 114. Guy, turn around the cameras. We're kind of seeing this, in our background as we're watching the game on Flow Sports. The Salt Lake City Stars are going to play here on Monday night, I believe. They're going to be hosting here at Maverick Center. It's kind of fun action, family affordable prices. What do they always call it? Fun, affordable, family fun. You just throw the word fun in there a couple times, and that's what Stars basketball is. And they're going to be here at Maverick Center on Monday, and that's what we're looking at this evening. Is they're putting the court in place. It's kind of fun to see, and they did this pretty quickly. Is the thing but right before the pregame show, it was like 6:30, and we're still looking at ice. And they've put together the basketball court, and they're putting it together as we speak. And that's kind of the background we're looking at as we're watching the Grizzlies and the Steelheads meet in the second of a 2-game set. And it'll be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to go to the Stars game on Monday. What I might do is just bring a voice recorder and record a game to see if basketball is easier to call than hockey. But it'll be a fun third period. And, I think about the Steelheads and the way they've closed out games. But from the Grizzlies' perspective, I think back to October 28th. When the Grizzlies defeated Idaho 2-1, it took a great defensive effort for Utah to get it. They were 13 seconds away from a shutout, and it kind of feels like tonight the Grizzlies, it's going to take that great defensive effort once again if they want to come away with 2 standings points.
Yeah, Tyson, I really feel like if the Grizzlies want to close out this game and win it, they got to clamp down and they have to reduce the pressure from Idaho. They got to find a way to stop them from taking shots. Metcalf's had a busy night, and you mentioned that he doesn't look like he's 100%. So what the Grizzlies need to do is they need to make it easy for him in the third period so he doesn't have to face a lot of shots and get a lot of work in. Close this thing out. Get another goal. I think another goal would be huge for the Grizzlies if they could. But if you can't, just make sure you clamp down defensively and then limit guys' chances like Domowski, Pelton Bice, especially Becker. Becker's been significantly good in this game. So find a way to shut down those guys. Push pucks towards the board. Don't let it get them a whole lot. Just clamp down and get a goal if you can.
Utah leads 3-2. Some other action from around the league. Wichita defeats Kansas City 2-1. As the Thunder get a victory, both teams are over the 500 mark this season. Rapid City led 3-1 going into the third period, and I don't know what happened, but Rapid City scored 5 goals in the third as they defeat Allen 8-2. Matt Marchino had 2 goals and 2 assists for the red-hot Rapid City Rush. Yamamoto had 2 goals and 1 assist. Rapid City outshot Allen 49-31, and they get the victory 8-2. Allen's record falls to 5-10-1, while the Rush record goes to 10-8. In a shootout, Toledo defeats Cincinnati 2-1. Wheeling over Fort Wayne 4-2. Atlanta defeats Greenville 3-2. Reading over Norfolk 4-1. Jacksonville in overtime gets a 3-2 victory over Orlando. Remember, the Grizzlies will take on Jacksonville 3 times next week, next Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Face-off all 3 nights will be at 5 o'clock in the Mountain Time Zone. Florida defeats Kalamazoo 4-1. Maine over Adirondack 4-3. South Carolina shuts out Savannah 3-0. Worcester over Newfoundland 6-4. And in overtime, the Trois-Rivières Lions defeat Iowa 5-4. Deion Sanders had been coaching at Jackson State. Their team won the SWAC championship and went 13-0 this year. Deion Sanders is the new head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes, as he's going to be in the Pac-12. They're kind of a rival of Utah. It'll be interesting to see what he does in Colorado. I almost say rivalry, and I kind of say it somewhat tongue-in-cheek. What they call it? The Rumble in the Rumble in the Rockies, the Rocky Mountain Showdown. I don't know. I don't remember what they called it. They tried to make a rivalry out of it when Utah and Colorado both joined the Pac-12. Utah's probably going to be headed for the Rose Bowl after winning the Pac-12 over USC last night. It'll be interesting to see. Partly, I kind of call it a rivalry because Utah and Colorado meet about rivalry weekend in November every season. So it almost seems like Utah always plays a big game against Colorado based on the time of year that they play against each other. So it'll be interesting to see if Deion Sanders can turn around Colorado, who went 1-11 this season, as he's the new head coach of Colorado. And Guy, it was kind of my generation where I saw Deion Sanders play, and he was one of the best cornerbacks I ever saw. But I think Deion Sanders is one of those guys that, just by personality and just by his charisma, he might turn around Colorado and make them a winner again.
Yeah, I never got to watch Deion Sanders play. That's way ahead of my time. But
you're making me feel old. They're way ahead of your time. That was my time.
Well, I don't mean to make you feel old, but I think this is good. I mean, this is really good for not only Colorado, but for the Pac-12 in general. I mean, I'd love to see that rivalry between Colorado and Utah, be strengthened and be renewed. And I think this does that. And I think for the Pac-12, you're going to lose USC, you're going to lose UCLA. But the addition of Deion Sanders, and if you can get Colorado back to being a top-tier program, I think that's huge for the Pac-12 in the future.
Yeah, the Pac-12 is going to need some other programs to step up with USC and UCLA leaving. Looks like Michigan's going to go to the college football playoff. They're ranked second in the country. 3 minutes left in the third quarter. They lead Purdue 28-16. In the ACC championship game, Clemson leads North Carolina 39-10. Earlier today, Georgia, the number 1 team in the country, gets a 50-30 victory over LSU. Georgia is the SEC champions, and they'll be in the college football playoff as they'll probably be the number 1 seed. Remember, they are the defending champs. They defeated Alabama last season and won the national championship. Their first since 1980. So Georgia will be in. Michigan will certainly be in if they win. TCU lost to Kansas State 31-28. TCU ranked 3rd in the country coming into play. Remember, the playoff seedings will be announced tomorrow. Will TCU go in? Who knows? We do know that Ohio State's probably going to be in. They didn't play this week, but because of Utah beating USC, Ohio State, which was ranked 5th in the country, will jump ahead of USC, who was ranked 4th. And USC obviously lost to Utah. But what happens with TCU? Do they go in ahead of Alabama? TCU just has 1 loss. Alabama has 2. I think it comes down to whether the committee respects the Big 12 enough to let TCU in with that 1 loss, as they lost to Kansas State today, 31-28. But Alabama, obviously a bigger name, with the 2 losses. They lost to LSU by 1 point and Tennessee by 3. But do they have the resume to jump ahead of TCU? I think, unfortunately, when you get into those committee rooms, it's not really the resume, it's the brand name. And Alabama has a bigger brand name, and that might end up making the difference in who goes to the college football playoff. Well, it looks like third period action will begin here shortly as the Grizzlies lead 3-2. Johnny Walker and Andrew Nilsson each have 1 goal and 1 assist. As Guy Krenz is going to turn the camera around as they're putting together a basketball court, which is certainly a lot of fun to watch. But the Grizzlies have some business in hand at Idaho Central Arena. I kind of joke with everybody that, when the Grizzlies go to Boise, it just ends up being a 2-game split. Forget about the bus travel and all the inconveniences. Just, have a handshake agreement with Idaho. Both teams win 1 game and you move on. Almost seems like it always ends up as in a split in a 2-game set over in Idaho, and the Grizzlies are 1 period away from doing just that. Utah is 4-1 when leading after 2 periods, but as Guy Krenz had mentioned, Idaho this season 29-9 in the 3rd period. So, Guy, what's going to be the key to victory here for the Grizzlies in the 3rd with a 1-goal lead?
I think the best case scenario for the Grizzlies is they come out here and they get an early goal. They jump on it and they build a 2-goal lead. But if you can't do that, I think you got to be able to just clamp down and shut them down. You can't let them get too many shots on goal. You can't let them get any rebounds. I think you got to push the play towards the boards, keep them away from the net, keep shots away from the net, and play your style of game, and keep the Steelheads out of your zone if you can.
Garrett Metcalf's been solid in net, stopping 22 of 24. As well, 3rd period action here at Idaho Central Arena. Remember, these teams will meet in a 2-game series at Idaho Central 2 weeks from now before Christmas, and then the Steelheads will be at Maverick Center, the final 3 games of the 2022 calendar year. It's the 7th of 18 meetings this season between the clubs. Utah won on October 28th, and Idaho has won 5 straight against Utah since then. Idaho's on a current 7-game winning streak. Utah has won 2 of their last 3 games, as people are dancing to the same song they played before the 3rd period. And I think it's a song called $10 by MIA. As everybody having a good time. It's the dance move is really, you take your hand, you just move it up and down. As that's kind of the dance move you have. As it looks like we're now returning to the ice. 20 minutes are on the stadium scoreboard clock at Idaho Central Arena. Tyler Penner will take the draw. He's got Johnny Walker to his left and Neil Robinson to his Johnny Walker to his right, Neil Robinson to his left. Utah wins the draw. They lead 3-2. Grizzlies are skating from left to right as we see it on Flow Sports. As Connor McDonald, the Grizzlies captain, will toss it to center ice, picked off by Kawaguchi as the puck glides towards the far boards. Nielsen gets it. He gets hit by A.J. White. Now the Steelheads feed it to Kawaguchi. Left side takes a shot. Saved by Metcalf. Nielsen tried to clear it out, but kind of didn't get much of it. Kawaguchi over to the left side. Now up top for Register. Matt will throw it to the right side, but it exits the zone as his pass of Brady went wide. Brady skates back into his own zone. He'll feed it to Register. As Register will throw it to his right. He got redirected in Grizzlies territory as Utah skates around the net. Kind of looks like the ice surface a little bit lively here tonight as Mikalchuk skates out of his zone, out to neutral ice. He falls down. Franklin in the area. Puck glides back to Mikalchuk, who's back to his feet. He crosses center ice and dumps it in. Bardo chases after it. Mikalchuk delivers a hit of Bardo as Penner, or make that pouncy, throws to the right corner, picked off by Idaho. as Franklin will feed it to the right side. 2-on-3. Idaho steps into the offensive zone. Becker with a right wing shot, and it goes wide as it glides along the near wing boards. Taken by Bardo. Dawson's his first name as he's being shadowed by Michalchuk. Bardo will bounce it off the far wall as Misiak skates back in. He'll dump it towards the far corner, and they try to get it back to Misiak behind the net. He gets hit by Bartley. Misiak back to his feet, and Pouncey comes out with the puck. Kyle will bounce it off the far wall, and it goes back to Idaho. Back pedals into their own zone. A minute and a half into the third period, Bardo will feed it over to the far side, and it glances off the stick. Grizzlies gather it, and they'll dump it in. As Hedrick skates after it around his net, over to the right side. Nearby is Cole Tarchi. Now Cole will back out towards center ice as Idaho will start their attack. As Hedrick will feed it to his right. Idaho at neutral ice will nudge it ahead towards Pelton Bice, but he couldn't skate over towards there as he collides with Corey Thomas along the far wall. Puck ricochet stays in play as it hits off the end wall of the Grizzlies zone. Utah clears it back out to center. Idaho will feed it back to center ice, right wing, and they'll chip it in. As Metcalf behind his net will stop it. He'll throw it to the near side. Grizz get it ahead to Fitz. Dillon, who scored a goal last night, will get it taken away by Pelton Bice, who dumps it in. Metcalf behind his net once again plays it, and so he'll throw it to the near side. Martin will bounce it off a Steelhead as it goes out to center ice. As Grizz, right wing pass to Penner. Tyler skates to the right circle, looking for a centering pass out in front to Walker. His shot goes wide. Now Robinson with a shot, saved by Poirier. Rebound goes out to Idaho. They skate around their goaltender. Now back to Domowski. He'll throw a blue line to blue line pass. It's picked off by Nilsson. Andrew with a blue line to blue line pass himself to Walker as it glanced off his stick. Robinson in the left corner. Throws it back to Walker. He'll nudge it up top for Nilsson, who fakes a shot, skates towards the middle. Nilsson, he'll take a lefty shot, and it goes wide. Now Nilsson tries to feed it out in front. It goes around the net. Utah will spin it back towards the left corner, taken by Darren Brady. He'll nudge it ahead. Big time hit deep into the Steelhead zone, and it looks like the referee is going to tell him to play on. As Idaho back in their own zone, 3.5 minutes into the third period, Utah leads 3-2. Nick Canati back behind his net. Now start the attack. He'll skate down the middle. He'll throw it to the near side for Kawaguchi. He'll cross center ice and dump it in. Kawaguchi had 2 goals last night as Idaho won 5-4. It's 3-2 Grizzlies trying to even up the series. As the puck deflected and goes out of play with 16:20 left in the third, draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone as A.J. White, the captain of the Steelheads, it feels like he's almost due based on the production he has had over the last few years. Remember, 2 years ago, he was with the Grizzlies the year the Steelheads didn't play, and he ended up with 40 points. In fact, the last month of the regular season, him and Trey Bradley were keys to the Grizzlies making the postseason run. As Idaho wins the draw, centering pass, shot saved by Metcalf. That was Kawaguchi out in front. Now he looks for the wraparound. Instead, feeds out to the right wing. Shot saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes to Utah. Michalchuk will nudge it ahead. Goes to Raby. Right circle. Lefty shot saved by Poirier. And he holds on with 16:02 left in the third. Boy, what a pretty good first 4 minutes of this third period by Vladislav Michalchuk, who's really settled in. He threw a nice pass ahead to Dakota Raby, who had a pretty good look from the right circle. Raby kind of tried to go low on Poirier. Remember, Robinson went low on Poirier and ended up scoring 5-hole. Looked like Raby was trying to do the same thing, but Poirier made the save and didn't allow a rebound or a second chance. Draw one in the right circle by Idaho. Register around the net. Bardo chases after it. As Wade Murphy throws it back to Register. As Register will feed it out to center ice looking for Kawaguchi. Now it goes back to Register. He'll go D to D with Bardo. As Bardo will nudge it ahead as it goes into the Grizzly zone. Aaron Tho will gather it. He wears number 28. It's his third game of the Grizzlies. He signed last Saturday. He'll get it over to the far side. Now back to Tho. Tho will throw it to center ice. Pass didn't connect, and it looks like it's going to be icing on Utah with 15:28 left in the third. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. Crowd at Idaho Central Arena, 5,212. It's the 8th sellout by the Steelheads this season at Idaho Central Arena. 52-12 is the announced attendance over at Idaho Central Arena on Teddy Bear Toss night. Jack Becker got the Teddy Bear Toss goal 12:59 into the first period. Utah leads 3-2. Draw one by Idaho as Zane Franklin along the near wall, battling with Simeone. Franklin trying to break free. He loses the puck. Grizzlies will bounce it off the near glass. It goes out to the Steelheads territory. Hedrick will get it across. Now blue line to blue line. Idaho skates in. Right side. Right circle shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound. Misiak gets dragged down by Johnny Walker, and the official spotted it. Probably a good penalty by Walker as the whistle blows with 15:05 left in the third period. As a shot was taken from the right side, it bounced off of Metcalf's pads. Misiak was cutting down the middle, and Walker knew that he got beat and just dragged down Misiak. Walker has a word for the referee, and I thought it was a good call, and it was a good penalty by Walker because if he doesn't drag down Misiak, it's possible he gets the puck in a great scoring position. So the shot was taken from the right side, and I don't know, Misiak, it's kind of arguable. I mean, the call wasn't, but whether Misiak would have had a chance to skate in for a second chance. It looked like he was a little bit towards the goal line. But Walker gets 2 minutes, 15:05 left in the third. Idaho has a power play goal tonight. Utah has 2. Off the draw, shot by Hedrick goes wide. Idaho wins the faceoff. Arm is raised by the referee. It looks like another penalty on the Grizzlies as Keller throws to Utah, touches up. Boy, another penalty by Utah early on this power play. And going to the box is going to be Tyler Penner. Well, you talk about calling it tightly. Walker to the box, and now 13 seconds after he entered, Tyler Penner's in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. So a 5-on-3 power play for Idaho. They're 1 for 4 on the power play tonight. Utah's 2 for 4. Grizzlies are up 3-2, but you talk about a critical sequence in this game. Draw one by Idaho as they've got a 2-man advantage. Pelton Bice will throw it to the high slot for Hedrick. He'll throw it to the right corner as Idaho gets it back up top for Pelton Bice. It glanced off his stick and goes out to neutral ice. Idaho has to reset. Hedrick will enter with momentum as he tries to drop it off for Becker, taken away by Utah, who clears it out. We didn't get to see the official signals as to what the penalties were. Looks like Walker got a hook and so did Penner. 13 seconds apart. As Idaho crosses center ice, Pelton Bice will get it to the right side. Now the Steelheads get it back to Bice. Over to Hedrick. Hedrick will get it to the right circle. Lefty shot on it, goes wide and rolls along the near wall and goes out of the zone. All the way out towards the right circle of the Steelhead zone. Outlet pass by Poirier. Steelheads will make a line change. Grizzlies do as well. Left wing pass to Demowski, steps over the offensive line. Now up top to Hedrick. Now to the right side. Now back to Hedrick. One-timer, and it goes wide. He tried to go glove side on Metcalf. Bice skates towards the right point. He'll nudge it back to Hedrick. Now to the left circle for Franklin. Across the right side, Bartley got a stick on it as it bounced off the far wall. Now Hedrick slot shot, saved by Metcalf. Rebound goes to Utah, who clears it out. 30 seconds left in the 5-on-3, and then Walker will come out of the box, and then 13 seconds after that, Penner will exit. Kawaguchi re-enters the zone. He'll throw it up top for Register. Skates towards his right. Now to the right circle. Back up top to Register. Now to Bardo. Left side back to Register. Now to Bardo. One-timer. That goes wide. He tried to redirect it off of White. It glides along the far wing boards and exits the zone. 5 seconds left in the 5-on-3. Register crosses center ice. Skates down the middle. Now he'll veer off to the left as he enters the zone. Register in his long stick will get it out towards the left side. McDonald pokes it away. Now out of the box is Walker. He joins the play. Steelheads try to feed it out in front. Utah gets it and clears it out. Great penalty kill by the Grizzlies as Penner exits the penalty box. Utah had a 5-on-3 for 1:47, and they don't let the Steelheads tie it up. Idaho has the puck skating from right to left as they'll feed it over to the right side. Steelheads dump it in as it goes around the boards. Whistle blows, and the Steelheads are offside with 12:40 left in the third. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. Let's see. They might have called icing, which keeps the puck in play and doesn't let us go to break, as it looks like icing was the call. So draw's going to go to the Steelhead zone, and you talk about a momentum changer. Now, in Idaho, looked like they had every opportunity there to tie the game, and the Grizzlies' penalty kill just did a great job clearing the puck out. I haven't seen as many clear-outs on a 5-on-3 situation as I just saw there in the last 2 minutes. As the Grizzlies win the face-off, but a delayed offside, they let Idaho touch it up. Idaho at center ice, right wing, they'll dump it in. As Thomas chases after it, Miller gets there first. Miller collides with Thomas. The puck ends up in the left corner. Thomas battles with Miller as Thomas feeds it across to Martin as Bryson will glide it along towards center ice. Dakota Raby chases after it, and the arm is raised by the linesman. It looked like it was about a dead heat there with Raby and Kanadi, both guys with outstanding speed. But usually, when in doubt, they're going to make the icing call, and they did there with 12-12 left in the third. Draw's going to be back in the Grizzlies zone, and Garrett Metcalf's been outstanding. He probably could get star honors tonight if the Grizzlies hold on for a victory. Johnny Walker and Andrew Nilsson should get star honors. They've got 1 goal and 1 assist. Jack Becker with 2 goals for Idaho. Steelheads won the draw, and they bounced it off a Grizzly. And total shots, Idaho with 30. Utah with 17 here tonight. 12 minutes left in the third. Along the near wall of the Grizzlies zone. Left wing shot. Saved by Metcalf. Looked like one of those 2-on-2 battles along the near side. And then Idaho took a quick shot, but quick reflexes by Garrett Metcalf as he makes the stop. Less than 12 minutes left in regulation. 11:55 to be exact. Utah leads 3-2. We'll take a timeout. This is Grizzlies hockey presented by Mountain Land Supply Company.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
55 left in the third period. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. Idaho has outshot Utah 31-17. Idaho had a 5-on-3 power play for 1:47, but the Grizzlies did a great job on the penalty kill. Idaho is 1 for 6 on the power play. Utah is 2 for 4. As the Grizz win the face-off, they get it out towards center ice. The puck bounces off the boards near Idaho's bench. Register feeds it across as Idaho throws a blue line to blue line pass. It goes past A.J. White onto Metcalf, and Garrett covers up in the crease area. You can kind of tell with his movements, he's not exactly 100%, but Garrett really doing a good job hanging strong as he's played a good game, stopping 29 of 31. After the whistle, Jordan Kawaguchi had a few words with Keaton Jamison as the draw is going to be in the Grizzlies zone. 11:39 left here in the third. Kawaguchi had 2 goals last night. He's got 3 shots here so far tonight. Wade Murphy's out there as well as A.J. White. Matt Register seems to be on the ice the entire game. Big number 43 for Idaho has 2 shots on goal. Grizzlies win the draw. Nielsen around his own net will pitch it out to center ice. It glanced off a stick. Grizzlies. Jamison steps over the line. Raby, tried to center it to Fitz, and Idaho picked it off. Still, let's come back the other way. 2-on-3. As Wade Murphy skates towards the corner, he falls down as he blows a tire. Grizzlies start the attack again. Michalchuk will feed it to the left side, trying to get it back to Michalchuk, and it glanced off his stick onto Poirier, who kicks it away. Now Michalchuk, wraparound shot, saved by Poirier. Michalchuk gets it back to Raby. Right side shot, saved by Poirier. He holds on with 11:04 left in the third. Grizzlies, a pretty good shift there by Fitz, Raby, and Michalchuk. But Poirier made the stop on Raby's shot on the right side. You can almost see, Vladislav Michalchuk really settle in his second game with the Grizzlies. He's had an outstanding third period. Michalchuk in his 4th different team in the ECHL. His rookie campaign was with Wheeling back in the 2020-21 season. Last year he was with Jacksonville. Earlier this year he was with Adirondack and had 1 goal in 12 games. Released by Adirondack and picked up by the Grizzlies. He made his Grizzlies debut last night. Idaho wins the draw. Nick Kanadi races into the offensive zone as he stops in the right corner. As the Steelheads skate from right to left in this third period. Kanadi skates towards the left point, takes a lefty shot, and it's blocked by Bartley. Now Kanadi gets it back, takes a shot, and it's blocked by Walker. Grizzlies clear it out to center as Penner got spun around. Is it going to be called? I think it is. Penner was trying to skate out of his zone. He got spun around, and Ryan Domowski is going to get 2 minutes in the box, probably holding. Most of the time we don't get to see the official signal, but Domowski argues his case, but he is in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. 10:42 is left in the third as the Grizzlies We're 2 for 4 on the power play tonight. Go back on the man advantage. Domowski shakes his head back and forth. Grizzlies could sure use some insurance. And, Guy, who do you think is going to finish this thing? You got Walker and Nilsson. Those two have been outstanding.
Yeah, I think you got to go with Andrew Nielsen on this one. He's been fantastic on the power play. No reason for him to not keep it up.
Walker will take the face-off, and it's won by Idaho as Register will throw it back to the far side. Svanenbergs will clear it all the way out. Nielsen already in his own zone as he anticipated Idaho clearing it out. He'll get it over to McCallchuck at center ice. He gets it poked away by Svanenbergs. Now the Grizzlies enter. Walker to the left side. Centers to McCallchuck and take a shot. Oh, what a save by Poirier. And the Steelheads clear it out. Boy, McCallchuck had it out in front, and Poirier made a kick save. What a stop. That's got to be the save of the week in the league. Utah still leads 3-2. Nielsen throws it back to McCallchuck, who was just robbed by Poirier. Now to Raby, who enters the zone. He'll drop it off. Now Nielsen with a blast, and all that goes wide as it glanced off a stick and flies out of play with 10:01 left in the third period. Boy, the Grizzlies had that grade A look as McCallchuck got a centering pass out in front, and he couldn't have been more open, and Remy Poirier just denied him. Highway robbery by Remy Poirier, and there's not much McCallchuck could have done about that. As Poirier with a nice save as he dove towards his left to make the stop. Johnny Walker will take the face-off as Grizzlies keep the same 5 on the ice. 1:19 left in the power play, 10:01 left in the third. Taking the draw for Idaho is Jack Becker, who's got 2 goals tonight. Becker and Walker were teammates at Arizona State last year. Now Becker's kicked out of the face-off circle. Jade Miller, who played for South Carolina last year, will take the draw. Both guys talk it over. And now Walker's kicked out of the face-off circle. Taking it will be Dylan Fitz against Jade Miller. And the draw won by Miller and the Steelheads. Register around his net will sail it all the way out towards Garrett Metcalf. Metcalf stops just in front of the crease, and he'll nudge it ahead to Nielsen. About halfway through Utah's power play, 5th of the night, as McCallchuck back to Raby, back to McCallchuck, gets around a skater. He's in the right circle, takes a shot. Saved by Poirier, and the puck deflects out of play with 9:41 left in the third. Boy, good look by McCallchuck, who's had 2 shots here on the power play, both of them really good looks. Poirier's denied them both times. I looked like it didn't even get to Poirier as it bounced off of Register, sticking went out of play. The draw's going to be over in the right circle. Tracking shots is pretty tough on these remote feeds at times. As Jamison to the right side, I almost need one of those Fox glowing pucks that they used to have. As the Steelheads win the draw and clear it all the way out into the Grizzlies zone. Sadly, that was before Guy's time. One of those other instances where I feel really old, as that was back in the 1990s. Come to think of it, Guy wasn't even born back in the 90s when Fox had the NHL. As the Grizzlies still in their own zone, 40 seconds left in the power play. Bartley skates down the middle as Utah made a line change up ahead to Jamison, who dumps it in. Robinson over to the left side, collides with Hedrick. Idaho gets it. As it still has 2-on-2, they cross center ice. They'll skate down to the right circle. Centering pass, shot. And a save by Metcalf as Pelton Bice had a good look out in front. Grizzlies get it. Less than 20 seconds left in the power play and less than 9 minutes left in regulation. Grizzlies enter the zone left wing, wrap it around the boards. Penner behind the net, looking for Jamison. As Penner nearby, he's got a goal in 2 of his last 3 games. Jamison, along with Robinson, as it glides off of the stick of Jamison and onto Idaho. Power play's over, is out of the box. Is the Steelheads Ryan Domowski. Utah leads 3-2, 8.5 minutes left in the third. Grizzlies skate from left to right as Victor Bartley will veer off to the right, and he'll throw it to Colatarchi. Joey over to Martin. He'll nudge it ahead, looking for Simeone. Pass was wide of the mark as Idaho has outshot Utah 8-6 in this third period. Over to Kawaguchi. He gets poked away by Martin. Grizzlies cleared out to center. Colatarchi gets cut off as the puck is in the Steelhead zone. Colatarchi goes down as the puck glides towards the near boards. As Idaho loses the stick, and that's Brady who picks it up. As a pass ahead, glanced off the stick of Murphy, who dumps it to the corner. Murphy collides with McDonald, but Murphy gets there as he won a one-on-one battle with McDonald, which doesn't happen very often with the Grizzlies captain. As Murphy feeds it up top to Bardo, he takes a righty shot, and it's blocked by McDonald as Connor races towards the far boards, Gets it out towards Fitz and out to center ice. Idaho tries to re-enter. Good poke check by the Grizzlies. The puck ends up back in the Idaho zone. As the Steelheads will get it out to center ice. They'll skeet down the middle, and they'll backhand it over the head of Tho. Back to Metcalf, who glides it to the corner. Now Franklin will feed it to the right point. Now centering pass near him. Shot. Saved by Metcalf. Now back to Nearham. As he'll throw it to Register. Left point. Shot. Saved by Metcalf again, and he holds on with 7:21 left in the third. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. We're back in 1 minute on the Grizzlies Hockey Network, presented by Rio Tinto.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
I live for my next goal. Whether it's another pick six or another step forward in life, I wouldn't be who I am without the drive to reach it. And I wouldn't be where I am without my team. Everyone on and off the field who supports me and believes in my dreams as much as I do. Whatever your goals are, surround yourself with people who are going to help you reach toward them. Like my friends at America First, and see where life takes you.
It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2. Johnny Walker and Andrew Nilsson each have 1 goal and 1 assist. Utah's 2 for 5 on the power play. Idaho is 1 for 6. A sellout crowd of 5,221 over Idaho Central Arena. Draw's going to be in the left circle. Keaton Jamison kicked out of it as action is in the Grizzlies zone. Mikulchuk will take the faceoff against Justin Misiak, and the draw won by Idaho as Register will get it to Zane Franklin. Now across the right side for Bardo. He tries to get around Rabies. He's now in the right corner. A lot of bodies out in front of the net as the puck ends up back in the right point for Franklin. He'll take a righty shot, and it goes wide. Puck ends up gliding towards the near boards and hacking away is Jamison and Mikulchuk as it's still in the Grizzlies zone. Now it squirts out towards the Steelhead zone as the Grizzlies were able to clear it out. Bardo chases after it as Utah's called for icing. 6:56 left here in the third period. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Carenza. And Guy, the Grizzlies had those couple big penalty kills. You think about the 5-on-3, certainly huge for Utah to keep that 3-2 lead.
Yeah, Tyson, that was almost a full 2-minute 5-on-3, and the Grizzlies were able to kill that off. That's huge.
Idaho has outshot Utah 10-6 in the third period and 34-21 for the game. As the Grizzlies win the faceoff, they throw it to center ice. Domowski dumps it in, picked off by Pouncey. Now it goes to Jamison, who gets it back to Pouncey in the Grizzlies zone as Utah's Victor Bartley will throw it back to Pouncey. Kyle at neutral ice crosses center, and he'll dump it in. Poirier will watch Register take it as he stays in front of his net. 6.5 minutes left in the third. Pass to center ice connects as Idaho skate in. Keller with a shot, and it was more of a dump into the left corner. Probably thinking about a shot, but didn't have an angle as it bounces off a Walker onto Penner. Tyler will nudge it out to center ice, but it's taken back by the Steelheads as Dawson Bardo will peel back into his own zone. He'll throw it across to Register, back off the far wall for Bardo, and he'll sail it into the Grizzlies zone. Metcalf will watch Andrew Nilsson chase after it. No icing on the play. Nilsson will feed it to the far side. Utah gets knocked down at their blue line. Idaho right wing shot saved by Metcalf. Puck ends up towards the right corner on the rebound, and we get a whistle. Are we going to get another penalty? As Penner was battling along with McDonald, and a Steelhead went down, and Penner's looking the referee kind of like, you gotta be kidding me. As on two knees was Vandenberg's. Johnny Walker and Tyler Penner talking it over. Penner can't believe it, but he's got a penalty. 5:53 left in the third as Jack Becker will skate towards the bench. Utah leads 3-2, but Idaho's going to be on the power play when we come back in 30 seconds. It's the Grizzlies 3 and the Steelheads 2 on the Grizzlies Hockey Network.
If you're out driving and something happens to your car, truck, or even wheelchair, and you end up stuck at a rail crossing, it's going to be okay. Don't panic. Here's what you do. Get out if you can and look for this blue sign on the metal pole. Call the number on the blue sign, and when they answer, tell them the crossing number. The number is right here. This tells them the exact location of the crossing. This is the fastest way to get trains stopped before coming through the crossing. Look for the blue. It helps you.
Penners in the Rogers and Russell Legal Solutions holding cell. 5:53 left in the third period. It's almost the weekend time for the Grizzlies, and they're trying to even up the series. Penner gets a cross-checking minor, 14:07 in. This is the seventh power play for the Steelheads tonight. They're 1 for 6 so far this evening. Utah's 2 for 5 on the power play as Garrett Metcalf will get back in net. Well, he's been active tonight, stopping 33 of 35, and he's less than 100% physically, but he's really gutting it out and doing a great job. A.J. White will take the draw in the left circle against Keaton Jamison. And the linesman says, my bad. And looks like Zane Franklin and Connor McDonald with a push and, hey, how are you type of thing. Franklin's one of those guys, he'll get under your skin if you let him. He played for Allen a couple years ago and led their team in penalty minutes. Jamison will take the face-off again. 1 second of the power play ended up, getting elapsed. I think they'll adjust the time to put it back to 2 minutes, and they do. As White and Jamison in the left circle. White's outstanding in the face-off circle. This time it's won by the Steelheads. They'll throw it to Register. Good job by the Grizzlies. Cutting in front of it is Raby. Got it out to center ice. Idaho regathers the puck. Register will peel back behind Remy Poirier, the Idaho goaltender. Now will start the attack skating from right to left. Register at neutral ice. Will cross center. Now throw it to the right side. Idaho enters from the right wing. As the Steelheads get it back up top to Register. He's kind of like their version of Andrew Nilsson. Over to the left side for Bardo. Back to Register. One-timer. Saved by Metcalf. Good stop by Garrett as Idaho had a guy trying to redirect it out in front. As Keaton Jamison pats Metcalf on the shoulder. Garrett now has stopped 34 of 36. And I kind of mentioned Register being kind of like Andrew Nilsson. Both guys play similar roles on their respective teams' power play. And Register over the years has picked up a ton of power play points. Draws in the left circle. A.J. White again with Keaton Jamison. 1:29 left in the power play. 5:21 left in regulation. Utah still leads 3-2. Draw one by Idaho. As now Kawaguchi. Slot shot. Kick save by Metcalf. Kawaguchi with another shot. Metcalf makes the save again. And Garrett holds on. A.J. White was out in front of the net, but Garrett Metcalf already with 3 saves on this penalty kill. Kawaguchi took 1 shot, and the puck bounced off of Metcalf's pads back to Kawaguchi, and Garrett made the second save as well. Draw's going to be in the left circle. Again, it's Jamison for Utah and White for Idaho. 1:20 left in the Steelheads power play. Idaho wins the draw. Register over to Franklin. He'll feed it across the right point for Bardo. Now it's the right circle. Now back to Bardo. He'll get it to Register. Puck bounced off a Register stick. He has to skate towards the boards to get it. Now around the net. Grizzlies gather it, trying to clear it out. They don't. Idaho throws to the left corner. Utah picks it off and clears it all the way out. Grizzlies make a line change halfway through the Idaho power play. 4:43 and counting left in the third. Andrew Nilsson and Johnny Walker each have 1 goal and 1 assist as Utah leads 3-2. Jack Becker has both of Idaho's goals. Now still at skate in. They try to center it out in front and it goes wide. Left point, Hedrick kept it in the zone. Now to the right side. Back to the right and near the circle. Now to the point. Back to Hedrick. He's in the high slot. He skates towards his right. Fakes to his right. Throws it to Keller. Now to the near goal line. It bounced it off of Becker's stick. He'll get it back to Keller along the wall. On the near side, Keller throws to the right point. 20 seconds left in the power play. Back to Hedrick. Now to Domowski. He skates towards the right point, dancing around. He'll throw it across to Keller. Keller on the left side skates towards his right. Now to the right circle. Lefty shot. Saved by Metcalf. He holds on with 4:01 left in the third period as Garrett making 1 save after another. Good job by Connor McDonald and Dylan Fitz out in front of the net. Fitz having some words with the referee, Sam Heidemann, as Domowski took that last shot. Great job by Metcalf. Jack Becker out in front looking for his 3rd goal of the game. Bron's going to be in the right circle. Metcalf's got to get star honors and maybe top star honors if the Grizzlies hold on to win this one. Utah wins the draw. Bryson Martin will spin it along the far wall, and it goes out to center ice. Taking it's Dakota Raby. He tries to split a double team into the Steelhead zone, and Brady takes it away. We're skating 5-on-5. Keller, left circle, shot, kick saved by Metcalf in the butterfly position, as Martin will throw it towards the far side. Right side, Hedrick gets spun along the wall, as Raby will clear it out. I tried to clear it out. It was gloved and kept in by Idaho. They spin it along the wall. Keller along the near side. He collides with Utah. Now Jamison gets the puck. He'll throw it to the left side. A bounce past Keller out to center ice. And Penner near the bench area in the right side will throw it all the way to the left corner deep in the Steelhead zone. 3:19 left in the third. Steelheads at center ice will regain the line. Right side shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on with 3:13 left in the third. Well, you can tell he's not 100%, but he's gutting it out. And Garrett Metcalf has been unbelievable tonight. As Kyle Pouncey hits Metcalf on the pads. What a job Garrett has done tonight. A lot of shots by Idaho in this series. They took 50 against Trent Miner last night, and Idaho is nearing about 40 shots this evening. Grizzlies win the face-off in their own zone. They spin it along the near wall. It goes past Johnny Walker, and it looks like icing is waved off with 3 minutes left in the third. As the Steelheads skating from right to left, as we see it on Flow Sports, Vandenberg feeds it out to center ice. Now skating in's near him. He stops along the near wall. He'll skate towards his right. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by Metcalf. Rebound. Grizzlies trying to clear it out. It stayed in the left point by Brady. Now to the corner on the near side. Walker will bounce it off of Brady. He gets around him. Tries to overpower it out as Penner with a big-time hit on Misiak. Puck goes to center ice. Well, does Penner get another penalty? Looks like maybe offside as the puck exit and then maybe re-enter the zone. 2:37 left in the third. The officials have been calling it pretty tight over the last couple periods as Darren Brady takes a seat on the bench. And from the Grizzlies' perspective, you're talking about an outstanding defensive effort, which really is reminiscent of what they had on October 28th against Idaho as Utah won at Idaho Central Arena. That's the only home loss that the Steelheads have had this year. They are 8-1 at home. Neutral zone, Grizzlies win the faceoff, and they ice the puck all the way down as the whistle blows with 2:29 left. And the faceoff's going to be in the Grizzlies zone. And you're talking about this is the kind of time where faceoff's going to be important. You know, they always talk about all the little things that you need to do to win hockey games. This is the type of situation where all the little things are going to end up making a big difference in whether the Grizzlies come away with 2 standings points or not. Net is empty on Idaho's side. 6-on-5, Idaho's net's empty. 2:29 left in the third. It's awful early to see Poirier come out for the extra skater. We'll see if the Grizzlies can capitalize. As Idaho in the offensive zone, face-off won by Utah's Nielsen behind the net and trying to clear it out. It stays in on the right side as he kind of fanned on it. As the Steelheads right circle shot. And that one goes wide over the crossbar and glides towards the near boards. McDonald tried to clear it out. Murphy gloved it and got poked out to center ice. Chasing after it's Raby. Raby to the right circle, and he'll drop it off looking for Jamison. Passes behind him. Idaho crosses center ice. 2 minutes left in regulation. Franklin over to White. He skates towards the left circle. Centering pass. Grizzlies poking out to Register. He's in the left side. Register dances around. He'll throw it to the right for Bardo. Now to the right corner. Less than 2 minutes left. Back to Bardo. He's in the right point. Feeds it to Register. Left side. It takes a shot. It's blocked by Jamison. Grizzlies gather it. They throw it towards the empty net, and it goes wide. Icing is going to be on Utah with 1:42 left in the third. Boy, a long shift by the Grizzlies 5-man unit who has to stay on the ice after the icing call. It was kind of early. You know, you'd think that, 2:30 left in regulation, a little bit early for Everett Sheen to pull the goaltender. But it looks like Idaho with one frantic effort to try to find a way to tie the game. I wonder if Idaho is going to use their timeout. And after an icing call, you almost wonder because you want to keep that, that unit out there for the Grizzlies. It does look like a timeout is being called. As Everett Sheen talks with his units, I'm not sure if it's a Grizzlies timeout or if it's a Steelhead timeout. I don't think it's a Grizzly timeout. I can't imagine after an icing call that you can call timeouts. I imagine that's probably part of the rule book. As Everett Sheen talks with A.J. White, Noah Hedrick and company, nobody has scored so far in the third period. As Utah had 2 power play goals in the second. Both teams had 1 goal in the first. And it's going to be interesting to see, can the Grizzlies win a couple faceoffs here? We've seen Jamison take some faceoffs late. We've seen Johnny Walker take some faceoffs late. The Grizzlies, I almost think in the last minute 42, they can come away with a victory if they can find a way to win some faceoffs here.
Yeah, Tyson, I think that's the key right here is they need to win this faceoff. They need to find a way to get the puck out of the zone. That'll kill about 30 seconds of time, 30 seconds of time, and that'll be huge for them.
Jamison will take the draw against A.J. White. 1:42 left in the third. Utah leads 3-2. Waiting for the linesman to drop the puck. 6-on-5. Idaho's net's empty. As Utah wins the draw. Nilsson around the boards as it goes to the right corner. Raby holds up Idaho. McDonald over there as well. Puck goes to the right point. Now across to Bardo. Bardo on the left side. He surveys. Now he skates towards his right. He'll get it towards the left circle for Franklin. Franklin takes a shot. Glove save by Metcalf. Boy, what a stop by Garrett as there was some sticks out in front. Franklin was hoping A.J. White would redirect it, but the Franklin shot went right into Metcalf's glove. And A.J. White was out in front, taking away the vision of Metcalf, but the Salt Lake City native has brought his A game here tonight. Draw's going to be in the left circle, 1:24 left in the third. Idaho's taken 19 shots to the third period to the Grizzlies 6. Utah wins the draw. Nielsen will feed it towards the far side. Dylan Fitz, who scored an empty net goal late in the regular season last year against Idaho. He battles. Puck ends up in the right corner. Nielsen chases after it. 1:10 left in the third. Nielsen will clear it out. It goes to the empty net. And he scores! He scores! And his baby's in the refrigerator as Andrew Nielsen fired it from all the way up to the Utah goal line, all the way across, and the Grizzlies have taken a 4-2 lead. Johnny Walker skates to the bench first. Didn't see who it was. It might be Walker's second goal of the game. He was nearby. So was Nielsen. Nielsen might have gotten redirected by Walker and into the back of the net as Johnny skated to the bench first. We'll see who gets credited with the goal on the ECHL app. But with 1:08 left in the third, the Grizzlies get a 4-2 lead. And as Guy was talking about, winning faceoffs, the Grizzlies won 3 of them in the last 40 seconds. Idaho wins the draw. They'll dump it in. Their net is still empty as Utah leads 4-2. Puck towards the right side as it's around Utah's net. Nielsen will throw it to the near side. Grizzlies try to clear it out. Left wing shot gets blocked out in front of Metcalf. Less than a minute left as Idaho around the net. Thomas battling. So's Kolatarchi. Puck glides along the far side. Kolatarchi holds up Darren Brady. 40 seconds left in the third. Idaho gets it to Hedrick. He'll skate towards his right. He'll take a righty shot. Saved by Metcalf. And Garrett holds on. Good job by Victor Bartley and Corey Thomas in boxing out Ty Pelton-Bice, who was out in front of the net. But you can tell just by the body movements of Garrett Metcalf. He's playing hurt. He's playing outstanding. And we'll see if we can find out who gets credited with that empty net goal as Utah leads 4-2.
Looks like it is going to be Nielsen.
Looks like Nielsen. Nielsen gets his 4th of the year and 2nd of the game. As Idaho wins the draw, they feed it to the right circle. Utah picks it off. They fire to the empty net, and it goes just wide. Icing is going to be on Utah with 26.6 seconds left in the third. But Guy winning those key faceoffs as they did in the last 2 minutes is the reason why the Grizzlies are going to come home with a series split.
Yeah, that was huge, Tyson. You talked about the little things. Well, that was it right there. Winning those faceoffs, getting possession, keeping the puck out of Idaho's hands. That's the key here.
Off the draw, Idaho wins the faceoff. Shot saved by Metcalf. Utah clears it out. Less than 20 seconds left as the Steelheads at center ice dump it in. Chasing after it's Corey Thomas. Now centering pass shot saved by Metcalf. 10 seconds left. Idaho gets over to Hedrick. Now to the high slot. Brady over to the right side shot. And it goes wide and rolls around the boards. 3 seconds left. Brady with a shot. That gets blocked, and that will do it. Grizzlies win. Grizzlies win 4-2, and there is no doubt about it. As Andrew Nielsen had 2 goals and 1 assist. Johnny Walker had 1 goal and 1 assist. And how about Garrett Metcalf? He was unbelievable in net. And after the whistle, some pushing and shoving behind Utah's net as the Grizzlies come away with 2 standings points as they split the 2-game series in Boise. The Steelheads 7-game winning streak comes to an end. The Grizzlies have now won 3 of their last 4 games, and they go back to the 500 mark with a 9-9 record. Nielsen gets his 2nd goal of the game, 18:52 in. It was an empty net tally, and what a night for Andrew Nielsen. What a night for the Grizzlies. An amazing defensive effort. How about Idaho, who took no less than 22 shots in the third period? Garrett Metcalf stopped 44 of 46 as Dylan Fitz hugs Garrett Metcalf. And what a job. And you can tell Garrett Metcalf's playing hurt because everybody going to hug him, but they're making sure they're hugging him kind of cautiously. What a performance by Garrett Metcalf and the Grizzlies as they come away with the victory. And you think about Idaho. They've been outstanding at home. They are now 8-2 at Idaho Central Arena. Both of their losses at home this season have come to the hands of the Utah Grizzlies. As Christian Simeone hugs Garrett Metcalf now, Vladislav Mikalchuk hugs Metcalf, and Connor McDonald is next. A great team win for the Grizzlies, who are now 1-1 on the road trip. And this season, the Grizzlies are now 6-4 away from home. Post-game show coming up next. Once again, the final score from Idaho Central Arena. The Utah Grizzlies 4 and the Idaho Steelheads 2. This is the Grizzlies Hockey Network. They'll give Becker one for his 2 goals.
We're back.
Welcome back to Utah Grizzlies hockey. It's a 4-2 Grizzlies victory. Jack Becker is one of the 3 stars of the game. He had both of Idaho's goals, but what an effort by Garrett Metcalf and company. Garrett stopped 44 of 46 as he goes to 5-1 on the season. I'm Tyson Whiting here with Guy Krenz and Guy. The Grizzlies needed to come through on the power play. They had 2 second power play goals. They needed Garrett Metcalf to be outstanding in net, and he was unbelievable, stopping 44 of 46. And, with the Grizzlies nursing the 1-goal lead and Idaho calling timeout with 1:42 in regulation, the Grizzlies needed to win some key faceoffs, and they did, which eventually led to Nilsson, who was at his own goal line and fired it all the way out across. And an incredible shot, albeit on an empty net, to ice the game for the Grizzlies. They win 4-2. It's you combine all those things, and you played an outstanding Idaho team tonight. But the Grizzlies really earned the 2 standings points tonight by doing all those things and kind of combining a great effort by all the defensemen. And Garrett Metcalf once again had his A game this evening.
Yeah, Tyson, it was just a complete effort by the Grizzlies. I love the way the Grizzlies came out and played this game, and I think this is a statement win for them. Idaho had won 7 in a row, 5 in a row against the Grizzlies, and it was looking like, well, it might be another one here, but no. The Grizzlies came out and they came to play, and this is a statement because everybody was thinking, Idaho's going to run away with the Mountain Division. They're first place right now, but the Grizzlies have proven that they can go toe-to-toe with the Idaho Steelheads. 2 games, they could have won the first game easily. If not for a few power play opportunities for the Idaho Steelheads that went their way. Grizzlies end up losing that game 5-4. They come out here, big win here. Shows that the mighty Idaho Steelheads can be beaten.
Idaho's lost twice at home this season, and both of them to the hands of the Grizzlies. So you think about Utah and the effort. They ended a 5-game losing streak against Idaho, and Utah's now won 3 of their last 4 games. That's certainly big because these road victories are going to add up. I think about all the key forwards the Grizzlies have lost to the AHL. Well, it's just an opportunity for guys to step up. And once again, I think we've been talking about it almost nonstop over the last month, but the contribution of Johnny Walker, 1 goal and 1 assist tonight. He played some key minutes, and he really stepped up big all weekend. 2 goals last night and 2 power play points this evening. Johnny Walker, Andrew Nilsson, and company really just stepped up and earned the points.
Yeah, Johnny Walker and Andrew Nilsson were huge in this game, and I would have to say it would be a 3-way tie for first start of the game between Garrett Metcalf, Johnny Walker, and the penalty kill, which includes Andrew Nilsson. The penalty kill, to me, was the biggest factor in the Grizzlies winning this game. Especially that 5-on-3 in the third period, almost a full 2-minute 5-on-3, and the Grizzlies were able to come out and kill that off. Exceptional. I mean, that's game-changing. So big props to the Grizzlies special teams tonight.
Let's recap the scoring. Neil Robinson got Utah on the board first, 8:29 in. The Grizzlies, really are one of those teams that, you play from a lead, and it's kind of easier in hockey when you play with a lead. And the Grizzlies did that tonight as Neil Robinson scored 8:29 into the contest. The Grizzlies are now 7-2 when scoring first this season. It was Teddy Bear toss night over at Idaho Central Arena. Jack Becker tied it up 12:59 into the first. Wade Murphy and Darren Brady with the assists. Idaho outshot Utah 15-5 in the first period, and both teams had 1 goal. Utah got on the power play as Ty Pelton-Weiss got a tripping minor 11 minutes into the second period. And Johnny Walker got his 8th of the season, and he got it out in front of the net. Robinson's goal in the first period was out in front of the net on a great pass from Tyler Penner. And Dakota Raby took a shot from the right circle. It bounced off of Poirier's pads, and Walker was just out in front to get the rebound and put it away. That's Walker's 8th goal of the season overall and 4th on the power play. Raby and Andrew Nilsson with the assist. That's right, Nilsson with another power play assist. He leads the league by a wide margin in that category. Idaho got on a power play of their own as Bryson Martin got 2 minutes for slashing, 13:25 in, and 24 seconds into the Idaho power play. Jack Becker got his 2nd of the game and 4th of the season. Owen Hedrick with the assists. Later on in the second period, the Grizzlies got back on a power play after Darren Bardo got a slashing minor, 14:02 in. That's right, there was a ton of penalties in the second period. Grizzlies capitalized as Andrew Nilsson fired away from the high slot, and it was a rocket that went past Remy Poirier. I think it was stick side on Poirier. It was Nelson's 3rd goal of the season. Johnny Walker picked up an assist. Utah led 3-2 after 2 periods. Utah outshot Idaho 10-9 in the second period. In the third, Idaho outshot Utah 22-7. That means Garrett Metcalf made 22 saves in the third period, and he was just amazing, stopping 44 of 46 to earn his 5th victory of the season. The only goal scored in the third period was Andrew Nilsson with an empty net tally. Right now it's listed as unassisted, 18:52 in. But as Guy mentioned, the key point in the third period, Idaho had a 5-on-3 for 1:47 seconds. As Johnny Walker got a hooking minor, 4:55 into the third, and then 13 seconds later, Tyler Penner got a hooking minor, and it was a golden opportunity for Idaho to tie the game. Grizzlies penalty kill did an outstanding job. I think the Grizzlies, they cleared so many pucks out in the 5-on-3, probably more than I've ever seen in a 5-on-3 situation. They probably cleared the zone 4 or 5 times on that 5-on-3, two-man disadvantage with Idaho on the power play like that. And the Grizzlies just did an outstanding job all night on the penalty kill. Idaho did go 1 for 7 on the power play, but you think about that third period, a golden opportunity for Idaho. And as Guy mentioned it before the third period, Idaho had outscored the opposition 29-9 in the third periods this season. Well, the Grizzlies won the third period, outscoring them 1-0. And so, for Utah, it's not only that they won the game against an outstanding opponent, but it's how they did it. It's winning the special teams battle. It's getting great goaltending from Garrett Metcalf. And even though you might be a little bit shorthanded in terms of forwards based on call-ups, and Cam Strong missed this weekend due to an injury, you think about all those other things that come into play, it combines to a Grizzlies victory. And you think about the blue-collar effort, that resiliency that the Grizzlies have shown this weekend. It turned into another weekend split in Boise, which it seems like it always turns out to be the case during these 2-game series. And Guy, you think about the 3 stars of the game. I can't imagine this would be right. Looks like the number 1 star was Jack Becker. He had both of Idaho's goals, which is certainly, you'd certainly, he had a great game. But right now he's listed as the number 1 star. Number 2 star is Andrew Nilsson, who had 2 goals and 1 assist, was a +2 and had 4 shots. Number 3 star is Johnny Walker, who had 1 goal and 1 assist. Although I think you got to think about Garrett Metcalf, stopping 44 of 46. So based on that, it would look like Nilsson would win the picks to click honor for tonight. But I almost think that with Garrett Metcalf, and I say Metcalf because it looked pretty obvious from watching his body movements after saves, he was far less than 100% physically, and he just had to gut through. Trent Miner saw 50 shots last night, and Metcalf saw 46, so 96 shots by Idaho in 2 games in this series. And just based on him gutting it out, I'm not entirely sure what he's hurt with, but you could tell that he wasn't feeling all that well. And you can see even after the game, the Grizzlies all went to hug Garrett Metcalf. They made sure they were pretty light with their hugs, almost like you're trying to a high school guy trying to hug a girl, and you want to like softly, it's kind of like what the Grizzlies did with Metcalf there. It was kind of very soft with the hugs, knowing that he's far less than 100%. But Garrett gutted it out, and I think because of that, he's going to end up winning the picks to click battle for tonight. Did anybody pick Garrett Metcalf as their pick to click tonight?
I do not see any Metcalf so far.
Remember, we're just looking at the live chat on social media. If you picked Metcalf, let us know.
I don't see any Metcalfs, but it's good to see that Chris Hagen is feeling a little bit better.
You filled in for Chris Hagan last week.
Yes, I did. That was a lot of fun. But good to see that Chris is doing a little bit better. Hope to see him back here for our next homestand.
Now,
I
did
see
anybody pick Nielsen?
I do see one Nielsen. It was right here.
Becky picked Nielsen. She might end up being the winner tonight. But,
I think that's the winner.
Otherwise, I'm looking at Garrett Metcalf and the job he did. He'd probably end up being the winner, which means that nobody wins. But if we want somebody to win, now what exactly did they win? I don't know.
You win a shout out. You're the biggest member of Grizzmania tonight. You're a Grizzmaniac. You're the number one Grizzlies fan for the night.
Becky's the number one fan of the night. I was kind of thinking it was the comedy show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Where the points are made up, where the game is made up and the points don't matter. And, so it's kind of like the picks to click. It's like the game is made up and the points really don't matter. But I was kind of looking for a prize, which is why I didn't really do it at the start of the year, because I'm thinking, okay, if we're going to do picks to click, we got to have a prize for this thing. Becky's got to win something except for pride, because right now all she's won is pride for picking Andrew Nilsson as the pick to click winner. Otherwise, we're going to have to find something there.
And maybe we'll have to work out a deal with somebody or someone, maybe a sponsor, or maybe we can contact the ticket office and maybe see if we can get a discount on tickets in the future. I don't know. We'll have to come up with something.
Well, Becky is the winner of the picks to click, as she took Andrew Nilsson, even though there's kind of an asterisk to it, because I think the winner really should be Garrett Metcalf, but it doesn't look like anybody picked the Salt Lake City native. Maybe somebody from the Metcalf family, chimed in with Metcalf, and then, they'd end up as the winner tonight. But I think it was an outstanding job because it was pretty clear. He was less than 100%. He saw 22 shots in the third period, stopped them all. And I think you look at the strong goaltending being part of the foundation of why I think the Grizzlies, regardless of, which forwards are up in the AHL, regardless of the health of the defensive unit. It was great to see Andrew Nilsson back, even though he did spend one game in the AHL with the San Diego Ghouls. And I got to imagine with the way he's performed that he'd be due for another AHL call-up, at some point in the near future. But, you think about Metcalf and you think about Trent Miner, who's, got the shutout last Sunday. And I thought, regardless of the outcome of the game, I thought he performed okay last night. And, Lucas Brick will get back soon, it sounds like. And he was outstanding in the 4 games he played earlier in the season. So you think about the foundation for this Grizzlies team and why I think, despite just a 9-9 start to the year, why I think they're going to be just fine. I look at that foundation of defensive play with McDonald and Nilsson, and a strong goaltending unit with three guys that are very much capable of dominating a game.
Yeah, the Grizzlies' goaltending depth is amazing. I think it's one of the best groups in the league. And as far as Garrett Metcalf, he was amazing tonight. I mean, he was clear. He's a warrior. He's just battling through something, whatever it is. He still played amazing. And you talk about a full defensive effort from the Grizzlies. I want to highlight one more thing is Ryan Domowski, Ty Pelton-Bice, and Colton Kaler were all held off the score sheet. Not a single point for any of them. So I think that speaks volumes in terms of the full defensive effort the Grizzlies put on display tonight. Those 3 guys, usually one of them has a point. One of them is usually getting something done. Zip, nothing, nada tonight. So that speaks volumes in terms of the performance that the Grizzlies put on tonight.
Jack Becker had both of Idaho's goals. He played at Michigan for a few years, and then last year was a teammate of Johnny Walker's at Arizona State. Well, it'll be an interesting series against the Jacksonville Icemen. We talked about probably too much the 4 former Grizzlies that are currently on Jacksonville's roster. They got a 3-2 victory tonight over Orlando, and I think it's going to be an interesting series when you think about, where Jacksonville is in the standings. They're at a 500 mark, exactly where the Grizzlies are, and it's a big series for both teams. And for the Grizzlies, can they carry over the offensive production over the last 4 games? Can they carry it over into the Jacksonville series? Because you think about a couple weeks ago, the Grizzlies having some trouble against Idaho here at Maverick Center, but then 13 goals in 3 games against the Lions and another 8 goals in 2 games against a pretty stingy Idaho team. Can they carry that offensive production into Jacksonville? I think that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, Tyson, I think the Grizzlies have an interesting opponent here in the Jacksonville Icemen, a team that you don't see very often, but it seems like there's a few familiar faces in Jacksonville with a few former Grizzlies there, which we'll talk about later on. But it'll be an interesting series to see how the Grizzlies play. I like their chances, and I really like the way that this team has evolved over the last couple of weeks. And this team has been very fluid. We've seen guys go up in the A. We've seen guys get injured. We've seen guys step in, and they've played great. I mean, Mikkelchek, he's been very good in his 2 games. I liked him in this series. The Grizzlies are starting to get some momentum, starting to get things rolling. Had a good series against Trois-Rivières, and now they've got a good split here against Idaho in 2 games that they played very well in. Could have won both. They come away with the split, and I like their momentum rolling here. They're 9-9 going against a similar team in the Jacksonville Icemen. So we'll see how it plays out, but I think there's a lot to like about the Grizzlies.
It's kind of interesting to see Idaho dominate the shot count. Grizzlies had 22 shots tonight, but it seemed like a lot of those were really good looks. You know, it was kind of like you're looking at quantity versus quality. Wasn't a ton of quantity there, but it seemed like the quality of the looks that the Grizzlies had to have been pretty close to what Ryan Kanaswich would want.
Yeah, Tyson. And I think that even though Idaho takes a lot of shots, you're right, not all of them are super great chances. And that also speaks to how good the Grizzlies goaltending is, which we've already covered. But I think when we mentioned Ryan Kanaswich, I think that he's got to be one of the top 5 coaches in the league, if not the best coach in the league. I mean, this team is facing a lot of adversity, a lot of guys going up and down. The roster seems to be changing every single day, and every single night, he's got his guys ready to play. He's got whatever guys are out on the ice, they're laying it out on the line. We're seeing guys laying it out to block shots. We're seeing guys take chances. We're seeing guys play really, really well, given the opportunities that they have. And Kanaswich is getting the most out of every single player.
And what I noticed last year and this year, it looks like it's turning into the case again where guys play with a lot of confidence. They play free and easy under Ryan Kanaswich. And that's where you see guys that maybe didn't get a ton of ice time before, step up this weekend. Neil Robinson is another guy that looked really good. He was a +2 last night, got an assist, and then tonight picked up Utah's first goal out in front of the net on a great pass from Tyler Penner. And, speaking of Penner, you think about a guy that's now got a point in 3 of his last 4 games. He's really stepped up offensively and really starting to play like the guy that we saw last season. You're going to get a good effort from Dylan Fitz every night. And Johnny Walker, you talk about guys, needing to score those goals, and Johnny Walker is coming through over the last handful of games and really scoring the type of goals that winning teams need to score. And that's those ones out in front of the net, because when you think about playoff hockey, you normally go against an outstanding defensive team and an outstanding goaltender. So out in front of the net there in those areas where, you're not going to get a ton of rebounds, but when you do get those, Johnny Walker is right there to capitalize on those. And he's done that a few times this season. That's how you're going to have to win playoff series, is those type of goals. And, with guys like Johnny Walker chipping in, it's certainly big for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, Tyson, I couldn't agree more. And it's really awesome to see these guys emerge for the Grizzlies, especially with that depth. And then we always talk about depth. What do you want on a team? You want depth. You want a guy that can step in when somebody's out. And that's exactly what the Grizzlies are getting right now. They've got guys who, when their name is called, they're producing. You talk about Neil Robinson. You talk about Johnny Walker, Dylan Fitz, Dakota Raby. I mean, the list goes on. It's really good to see, and it makes me excited for this team, because when you get those guys back from the AHL or back from injury, it just makes this team super dangerous, and it's going to be really fun to watch them down the stretch.
There was some pushing and shoving after the final whistle. Looks like Ryan Domowski got a 10-minute misconduct 20 minutes into the third period. Doesn't do anything about the outcome of the game. The game's already over by the time he got the misconduct, but I guess Domowski did a little bit of what they call extracurricular activity. And guys, a young broadcaster, I would say avoid extracurricular activity if you possibly can. Be a little bit more creative. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle behind the Grizzlies net or something like that. Or somebody's jackpotting around behind Utah's net. Just anything other than, the traditional cliched extracurricular out in front of the net.
Yeah, Tyson. Well, I think it's interesting that you bring up the kerfuffle in front of the net. Because last time out, we saw Johnny Walker and Zane Franklin getting into it. And Johnny was taking penalties, and maybe going in the penalty box when he shouldn't, making some decisions where maybe you don't want to fight Zane Franklin at that moment. He didn't do it this time.
No, I didn't.
He didn't do it this time. He made him pay with his shot. I mean, he put the puck in the back of the net and said, "Oh, you take that." And I love that from Johnny Walker. I mean, he can be a pest, but he can also be an excellent goal scorer. And I think it's awesome to see him learn when to engage in physical contact and a little bit of tomfoolery, as you would say. But it's also great to see him know when to take the shot and when to score goals. And it's really awesome. He's a great player for this team. I love Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker is becoming a fan favorite, a few penalty minutes and a few goals at a time. And, he was a big-time goal scorer in college, and he's just kind of translated that to the pro game. Well, I'll wrap things up here from Maverick Center, as they've got the basketball court just about all set here for Salt Lake City Stars basketball on Monday night. Grizzlies will take on the Jacksonville Icemen. We'll be here at Maverick Center to call all 3 games next weekend. I'm not sure what we'll do when there's an event at Maverick Center. We might be in the lobby at Maverick Center, right next to the championship banners or the championship trophies, the Turner Cup trophies. We might be there next week as I was able to find an internet connection, knock on wood, out there in the lobbies. We might be over there for one of the games next week as the Grizzlies take on the Jacksonville Icemen. Any final thoughts, Guy, before we head out?
I really like the way the Grizzlies are playing right now, Tyson. They got a lot of guys stepping up. It seems like they're really starting to mesh together and find their way. So it'll be an interesting series against the Jacksonville Icemen, but I'm looking forward to it.
It was a fun victory for the Utah Grizzlies as Andrew Nilsson had 2 goals and 1 assist, and Johnny Walker had 1 goal and 1 assist. And Garrett Metcalf was outstanding in net, stopping 44 of 46. Next broadcast of Grizzlies hockey will be on Wednesday night. 4:50 pregame show, 5 o'clock face-off in the Mountain Time Zone as the Grizzlies will begin a 3-game series against the Jacksonville Icemen, which feature former Grizzlies Parker Gahagan. He'll probably be in net for a couple of those games in the series. Defenseman Luke Martin and Hunter Skinner, as well as fan favorite forward Travis Howe. Once again, in 2 hours and 36 minutes and in front of 5,212 over at Idaho Central Arena, the Utah Grizzlies get the victory, 4-2 the final score to even up the 2-game set, as it turned out to be a split, as the Grizzlies have now won 3 out of their last 4 games. The Steelheads 7-game winning streak comes to an end. For Guy Carenza, I'm Tyson Whiting, and it is what it is.